Floating in a galaxy unknown, staying bold. Talking Treks, the podcast, tune in for stories told. UltimatDJz and Griffin on the mic. They are live aboard the Star Trek cruise. We take flight. Star Trek legends beaming from the past. With Beck Plant on board, this ride's a blast. Famous actors join the cosmic parade. Get ready for adventure that will never fade. Talking Trek, welcome to the stars where we belong. Broadcasting live, gonna sing our song. Warp speed ahead, no looking back. Join us on this cosmic track. Tales from the captain's log, we share for all. From the bridge to engineering, we answer the call. Meeting legends of the screen, our heroes in sight. The universe expands in the spotlight. Boldly go where no pod's gone before. With every broadcast finding new lore. The galaxy's endless stories unfold. This journey's worth more than gold. Talking Trek, welcome to the stars where we belong. Broadcasting live, gonna sing our song. Warp speed ahead, no looking back. Join us on this cosmic track. Talking Trek, welcome to the stars where we belong. Broadcasting live, gonna sing our song. Warp speed ahead, no looking back. Join us on this cosmic track.
Yo. Hey, going on? What's going on, everybody? How you guys all doing? Good evening. Welcome into the show. My name is UltimatDJz, and this is Talking Trek Live. We're back. Thank you, guys. What's going on? How are you? Welcome in to the show. My name is UltimatDJz. I'm your friendly neighborhood cat person, welcoming you into a Talking Trek server sound off. You guys, let's go ahead and hit it. Go ahead and punch that server. Here we go. Kicking it off. Sotak on server 28. Thank you. Noon Whistle on 29. Saying welcome back. Thank you. Skillyback from the Outback on 193. Raj on server 9. Thank you. Housekeeping on server 16. What is 16? I don't know. Hey, what's going on? Ultralex on 181. Spectre on server 11. John Drill on 32. Appreciate it very much. J-Babes on 13. What's going on? Ransusi on server 27. Anubis on server 201. Thank you. Dr. Juby on 60 and 61. Let's see. Benny Hills goes. There he is. Server 42. Thank you. Dragon Keeper on 53. Ross on 193. Kellad on 74. Tarpy on 70. Lieutenant Havoc on 61. What's going on? Jules Vern hanging out on server 44. Everywhere it matters on 56. Herbs on 28. Wood Cannon hanging out here tonight in the chat. Let's take a look over at YouTube, huh? Let's take a look at the YouTube chat. Timothy on server 93. What's going on? That on 15. Mordead on 195. Manic on 17. Let's hop on over to Twitch and say hello to our Twitch audience. What's going on? Hey, David. What's going on 702? John Drill on 32. Daystros on the glorious server 32. Dave Hart says, hopefully this will be more entertaining than STFC. Well, isn't it always? Hey, Dave Hart on 74. What's going on? Rocky Mountain on 28. Herps on 28. Bender the Robot hanging out. Good evening to you. Gobergeist on European 176. Doug on 38. Thumbelina on server 24. Engineering on server 710. Spock, what's going on server 35? Striker on 49. Dragon Keeper on 53. HRM Moose on server 53. Bearbutt Al on 24. Keith on 49. Timothy on server 93. And Alicia on 701. Candy White on 24. Burton on 701. Wilson on 36. Lourdes Garen on 49. Cruzito on server 13. Silver Tab on 40. Newton on 702. What's going on? Broken Wolf on server 99. Kirok on 61. Jeekboo on 53. Odysseus on 11. Wristbreaker on 70. Kill to Deal on 703. Deathblade on 37. APAL on 101. And the list continues on. I didn't even get to read all of them. I did not even read all of them. You guys are incredible. Thank you guys so very much. What's going on? Welcome in, everybody. My name is UltimatDJz. Thank you so much for being here. How are you all? Matters, what's going on? Pots, Jules, Tarpy, Karkin on the stage. Thank you guys all very much. We're going to go round the horn here in just a second and say hello to everybody. Let me say a couple of thank yous very quickly. You guys getting us started off the right way here this month. We are in a new month. It is the month of March. So we are kicking off our third and final month of PP promotional points. Matters, I will let you know that I was a little bit worried about February, but I shouldn't have been because the community's awesome. Community's awesome. While we were on the cruise, we finished the February objective, which means, Tarpy, we've got another $500 to give away. That's right. We got another $500 to give away.
I like it.
So we're gonna do that, and it's thanks in part to some of these people here, like Game Junior. Thank you for your 12-month resub. Bender the Robot, 11 months on the resub. Canine Tooth, 35 months at 35,000 feet. How fitting, Canine Tooth. Thank you for your tier 3 sub. That is incredible. Are you flying right now? Are you in the sky? And I thought planes had like a quiet cabin policy.
That's the next record, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's got to be the next broadcast. Screaming from the skies, baby. That's the next record we're gonna break.
Yeah, no quiet cabin policies. They don't let you. They don't even let you talk, man. You can't speak on a plane without getting shushed by somebody. Big Guns, thank you for your Prime sub. Rocky Mountain.
I know it was a library.
Yeah, I know, right? Rocky Mountain with the tier 3 sub. Let's go. Thank you. And Alicia dropping 100 kitty bitties in.
There's a normal level, and then there's Ripper.
Danny, thank you for the bits. Appreciate that. Candy White with the tier 1 resub, 22 months. Spectre for the 27 months. Freelancer, 300 kitty bitties. Papa Smurf with 100 kitty bitties. Engineer with the tier 3 sub. Dang. Holy smokes. Guru, thank you. Engineer, thank you for the tier 3 sub. You guys are incredible. And Alicia just dropped 5 gifted. Yes! Look at that. Wonder Yams with the tier 1 and some kitty bitties. Kelbound with the tier 1 sub, and then Spot coming in to drop another 5 gifted. Thank you guys. And already into a level 6 hype train. You guys are absolutely insane. Thank you. I really, really do appreciate that. Golly, you guys sure know how to make a cat feel missed. Thank you guys so much. You're sweet. I appreciate that.
Both your hat and your jacket.
You know what? Let me tell you something. I'm going to show you a couple of things, and we are going to get into STFC tonight. We have Jules. There's a new arc. The timing of the cruise was actually almost the exact same as it was last year, Tarpy, but I feel like, you know, we've got work to do tonight. So I feel like I'm going to have to tell you about the cruise a little bit more, but coming up a little bit later, because tonight is business. All right. Wilson, thank you for 5 gifted. Holy smokes. Thank you, Calbound, for the 28-month resub. What's going on, David and Wristbreaker over in the YouTube chat? Thank you. Man, you guys are crazy. Wilson, thanks for dropping another 5 gifted. And that puts us just shy of halfway through a level 6 hype train. Thank you guys very much. So this is, you guys will recognize this jacket. For those of you in podcasts, I am still wearing my Hero Within jacket, all right, because it's cold in the studio. So this is my Hero Within jacket. By the way, I am still giving away one of these as well. All right, from HeroWithinStore.com, and they are amazing. Tony is an absolutely wonderful guy. As a matter of fact, I have a promotion coming up with them here in a little bit. We're going to be giving away some more of their merch, so you guys stick around for that. You got to stick around for that. We've got a lot of stuff cooking up with Tony this year. But this is the premium leather Picard field jacket. Is what I'm wearing right now, podcast audience, and it's beautiful. It's got a really, really nice interior. I've had this jacket for a little while, though, but I'm wearing it tonight because it's actually also a very, very warm jacket. But for those of you who are curious about some of the content we did on the cruise, you saw the Voyager field jackets that were all over the place. And those were from Hero Within as well. Tony is just absolutely great. You guys can check out yours at HeroWithinStore.com. Pre-orders are actually open. He doesn't sell these year-round, guys. So if you're interested in getting one, you need to go make your order now because he only opens up production, 2 or 3 times a year. All right? So make sure you go and check that out. It's HeroWithinStore.com. Now, the other thing that I'm wearing tonight is my Star Trek The Cruise 8 t-shirt. Now, I like this year's better than last year. Tarpy, last year it was bright yellow, and you guys have seen me wear it before. I've worn it on the stream before, but the bright yellow is so bright that it throws off my color balance on the camera. So
that's true.
It does.
Yeah.
It throws off the color balance, so it's challenging for me to wear on stream. This one is great. All right, I love the colors this year. It was like a maroon command red, like a Voyager command red. I love it this year. And this might be my favorite piece of swag that we got this year. If you guys can see, this is a super, super nice hat. This is really, really nice. Embroidered all the way across. It's got Star Trek Cruise 8 on it. And then down on the bill, it says the unconventional voyage is stitched into the hat. I love this hat. I will wear the crap out of this hat. All right. This was a very,
It's
very
a really nice quality. Like,
yeah,
it's
good
like
hat.
really thick. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be what you praise about it. Anyway.
Oh my God.
So, C Engineering says,
Wow.
yay, glad to be home. Rocky Mountain, thank you for the 5 gifted. Pavic Amaro with the Tier 1 resub, 35 months. You guys are incredible. Thank you so much. I know she walked right into it, Don Zeno. That wasn't my fault. How was that my fault? 30 seconds left on a level 6 hype train, Tarpy. 85% through. Do we have one more level? Do we have one more level in here for those of you hanging out in the audience? Oh, come on. Look, hey, Rasker, thank you for your 33-month Tier 1 resub. Tarpy, we're only 2 subs away, but there's only 10 seconds on the clock. 2 subs away or 600 bits. 10? I can try. Here we go. 1,000. 2, 1,000. 3, 1,000. Oh, are we going to make it? We're 300 bits away. Oh, boom, we got it. Look at Freelancer coming in clutch right at the last second.
So is this if we get through level 9 as well? That whole get to level 10 hype train?
Yeah, why
business?
not? Yeah, let's do it. Why not? Yeah, if we get to level 10 tonight, we'll give away another giveaway. What was it? A $100 pack, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah, if we get to level 10, we'll give away a $100 pack. I'm down for that. Yeah, we'll do it. Welcome back, DJ, says Jeff. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Freelancer dropping 600 kitty bitty swag with the 5-month resub on Prime. Thank you. Anubis dropping 5 gifted. Papa Smurf and Little Danny, each with 100 kitty bitties. Rasker with the 33-month resub. Thank you. And that puts us 33% through level 7. So now listen, if you're on podcast, I don't expect you to listen through all the hype train. We've got a lot of stuff tonight. As a matter of fact, Jules Vern is on the stage, and as soon as we wrap up our introductory stuff here, we're getting straight in. As a matter of fact, I have been told tonight, Tarpy, that he has no desire for interruptions. That's what I was told. I was told to keep the ancillary conversation to a minimum. I was told to absolutely not
change my voice. Moose. Okay? Not my fault. It was Moose's fault. Okay? Preach. Don't let him stop you. Listen, here's what I got from Jules Vern earlier today. Let's see. Here it is. I'd like to keep this segment tight. So let's not bring up any auxiliary commentary, subjective or opinion-based commentary, or non-wave specific items, including Apex Shred during this segment. After that, after I'm done with my segment, you can do whatever you want. And
I think that anytime they include the letter D in any currency or ship, it's just bound to be misused by this podcast.
ladies and gentlemen, Jules Vern is absolutely a legend around here. And so then Matters comes back and says, wait, no subjective commentary? And then Jules comes in with the, this is more directed at DJs to contain his yelling about Apex Shred. Now, what makes you think, Jules, that I'm going to scream about Apex Shred?
A few things. I got a few reasons
Uh-huh.
that we'll talk about after the teaching segment.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Segment.
Retrieving says, but wait, isn't Apex Shred part of Waves? Yes, it is. And but by the way,
we'll contain the subject commentary about PvP Apex Shred until after.
I was going to say, because you specified PvP in that comment.
That is true.
Like,
that is my damn 2 minutes up. Please, God, I hate this during a podcast.
You have like 6 more minutes. You keep stalling. And
No,
we keep
I
adding
do
to the
not.
timer.
90 seconds are on the clock.
There is no voice changer Shred, okay?
Voice changer. Can we get a counter to the voice changer, please? That would be great. Yes, we're 42% through level 7. If you guys are wanting to win a free $100 pack tonight, we need to do that. Retrieving says we don't need to get into the philosophical impacts of Apex Shred. Oh, hell yeah, we do. Okay? Yeah, we do. But, in all fairness, we're going to let Jules get through his teaching segment first. All right. Dirty Bird Bill says, hey, Tarpy, did you washy before Yummy Yummy tonight?
Oh, yeah, that's funny. All right.
That sounds like an on-the-boat joke that none of us are going to get.
I mean, come on. Who doesn't know washy-washy? Everybody knows washy-washy. For those of you who have never heard even this story from last year, because we talked about this last year, on board a ship, first of all, everybody gets sick. Everybody gets sick. Tarpy is sick. Strider is sick. Moopsy is sick. Major Samo is sick. The Samo Famo is sick. Spectre is sick. Somehow, I and Griffin, or Griffin and I, whatever, are the only people who got off this ship without being sick. My explanation is that I was working too hard to get sick. All right, that is what I was working too hard to get sick. Now, in order to contain illness on the ship, to prevent the spread of disease, all right, they really encourage you to wash your hands so much. Daystros, do you all not sanitize often? I've gone on tons of cruises, never gotten sick. I didn't get sick, but I also I sanitized a lot, washed my hands a lot. Heck, one of our offices was in the Windjammer cafeteria or dining hall, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, if you've ever taken a Royal Caribbean cruise, it's washy-washy before yummy-yummy. They want you to wash your hands before you eat, all right? But they make songs out of it. That's right, Scribbler. It was a super spreader event. It always is. Everybody gets sick on the ship. Everybody gets off the ship and they're sick. As a matter of fact, before we get into the segment, and thank you guys, by the way, that hype train was epic and it is concluded. Thank you so very much. You guys are amazing. I appreciate that. Tiberius, thank you for the raid. Tiberius dropping in with 49 raiders tonight. Thank you, Tiberians. Welcome in. We're getting ready to get into ArcFall stuff. I was just telling a quick story, but then we're going to get into all the teaching tonight. But I don't even remember what I was saying now. Damn it. Anyway, washy before yummy. That's the thing. They make songs about it. They have costumes about it. You've seen like beauty pageant winners or like the sashes that like a bride would wear on her bachelorette party. You know what I'm saying? Like, those sashes, and they've got sashes that say washy on it. It's just a big thing. Okay. So
I guess that's better than saying wash your hands, you dirty pigs.
Yeah. Washy
like
before yummy. That's the big thing. So that's why Bill is asking about that. But it is funny. Bear Butt and Thumbelina did not get sick. That's great. I'm glad. Dirty Bird Bill says my wife and I did not get sick because we washy. before yummy yummy. I washy too, but apparently everybody else got sick. All right, everybody else got sick. So it was, but that happens. It's a phenomenon known as cruise crud. All right, if you've ever been, listen, last year, I don't remember if I got sick last year. No, I know I got sick after the Christmas cruise that I went on with the boys. Remember, I got sick on that one. Meanwhile says not going on the cruise is the only way not to get sick. Yeah, that's honest to God true. If you go on this cruise, you're probably not gonna be at your best when you get home.
They're floating bacteria. Everybody gives everybody everything.
Tremia says, I've been on 2 cruises, never been sick on either. That's excellent, to be honest with you. That's a testament to you, all right? But a lot of people get sick. A lot of people get sick. So
you can get sick without actually ever showing symptoms either, which is probably why some of us got COVID on the boat.
Wait, what?
Like,
you guys got COVID?
Yeah.
That's terrible. Well, I was looking through the chat.
I mean, I have a 3-week vacation.
I didn't see that anybody had tested positive for COVID. Holy smokes, that's terrible.
Yeah, Strider and I did.
In the cruise Facebook page, I saw most people posting about how they were sick and they all took COVID tests, but nobody had tested positive. That's crazy. Spectre has COVID, flu A, and RSV. How do you have all 3?
No, that's what he's saying. People had.
Oh,
like multiple people had different things, but
gotcha.
A lot. So several people. I don't know if you've checked the Facebook page in the last couple days, but they made an entire thread.
I did. I saw that
for people. Yeah. So there were.
A lot of people get sick. Anyway,
I mean,
people get sick.
Yeah,
all right, people get sick on cruise ships. That's right. They're disease incubators. You got it. Plugster, thank you for your 14-month tier 1 resub. I appreciate that. So anyway, that was the washy joke. All right, everything's fine. Thumbelina says, what Facebook page you talking about? The Star Trek The Cruise 8. It's a fan group. It's not the one by ECP. It's a fan group.
She's in it.
Huh? Yeah, you're already.
She's liked my post. Yeah.
Danny says, with Bill Shatner's age, do you think they'll allow him to go? Oh, yeah. Listen, Danny, the crew can be completely segregated. They can be off in their own little section. As a matter of fact, there were a few cast members this year that I did not see at all outside of their performances. They have a whole section of the boat that is completely, sectioned off just for them. So they can definitely isolate if they were wanting to. So anyway, we've got a lot more that we can talk about that a little bit later. I appreciate everybody welcoming us back. Thank you. Just to let you know, Griffin is not sick. Griffin is not sick tonight. He is actually celebrating his significant other's birthday tonight. So he was disappointed that he couldn't be here for this one. Lost In, thank you for dropping a gifted sub in the chat. But he is in the middle of this whole big, huge production for Ms. Griffin, who he was doing just this big thing. He got a restaurant, he got a band, and he sent me a picture a little bit ago. He sent me a picture here. Yeah, he got a limousine. He sent me a picture a little bit ago, and on the table.
That's a big one right there. That's impressively large.
I'm not going to share this because there's some family members in it, but on the table, there is I don't even know how to describe this. All right, party planners, tell me how to explain this. A stand-up tower kind of thing in the middle of the table that has lobster tails sticking out of it all the way around. There's 8 lobster tails sitting out of this lobster fountain. All right. Yeah.
You nailed it. It's a lobster fountain.
A lobster fountain. That's what we're going to call it. Lost In. Thank you. Dropping 10 gifted. What's up? Iron Chef is in the chat as well. Thank you for your 100 kitty bitties. Yeah, so it's like a pergola on the table with lobster tails in it. Lost In says expensive. I would just describe that as expensive. Manic says, oh my God, is he wailing outside of the game? Has anyone told Scopely? I know.
Where's the butter dishes? Are they also on the tower?
Yes. Yeah. Oh gosh, I didn't even see this. So yes, there's butter dishes on the middle row. And then I didn't even see this, but on the bottom, so it's like a multi-tiered seafood tower. On the bottom tier, there's oysters on the half shell. I wish I could crop this out.
Yeah.
But dude, this is a ridiculous looking little power tower here in the middle. It's kind of awesome. So, yeah.
And just as a joke, one of them is alive.
Yes, surprise. Happy birthday. So anyway, all right. So that's where he is tonight. He's feeling great. He's just he's off doing family stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, this past week was a phenomenal week for Talking Trek. We were hanging out on the cruise, and we were hanging out with Beck, and we were hanging out with Logan. He was there, and despite all of the videos of fun that we had posted and the streams that we had posted about fun, and then all the panels that we posted, of which, by the way, I still have 3 more to upload. I've got Deep Space Nine panel to upload. I've got a Voyager panel to upload. 4, I've got a Lower Decks Science panel to upload, and I have an exclusive one-on-one panel with Brandon Braga. Okay, so I still have 4 hours of content to post from the cruise. However, while we were there, we did have an opportunity to spend some time with Beck and Logan to figure out, about and talk about some upcoming content. It was a wonderful opportunity for us to sit in on a couple of extra meetings. As a matter of fact, Jules, you were in one of these meetings. We actually sat together in a play test for solo wave defenses while I was at sea. Jules was on the other end. He was doing some play testing, and Griffin and I were on the ship, and we were play testing solo wave defense. And we had an opportunity to look at this and play in some of it. And as the community kind of speculated coming into this arc, Jules, most of this arc I'm relatively happy with. Now, there are a couple of things that have disappointed me that were changed from the original plan. And then there's one thing that I still am just fundamentally not happy with, which you have already warned the community and me to not discuss until you're done with your teaching segment tonight. That being said, we are going to get into Section 31. We're going to get into solo wave defense, the mechanics, the crewing, the rewards, and all of the features of this coming arc. We're going to get into that tonight and give you a high-level overview. As a matter of fact, what we're going to do is turn Jules. The reason that Jules wants this so concise here tonight is because this is, in fact, going to be our quick and dirty ArcFall video, because we didn't have a chance to make one for you. So Jules Vern is pulling double duty tonight and going to teach you all about wave defense, the solo wave defense, the mechanics, the crewing, the rewards, and we're going to make this all into maybe 1 or potentially 2. Jules, look for a natural segue point there if you find one. Maybe 1 on crewing and then 1 on the mechanic itself. But he's pulling double duty tonight to record you your quick and dirty as well. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the man of the hour, the chief scientist of the Talking Trek Laboratory. Ladies and gentlemen, Jules Vern is here.
It won't be quick, but it may be dirty. I mean, Tarp is here.
Hey.
That's right.
So,
Thank you, Jules. Appreciate it. So, Jules, I'm going to sit back.
Let's get started.
You told me to shut up tonight.
You're going to help me.
Oh, I'm going to help. Okay.
So this is what you're going to do. I need you to help me kind of get through and show some graphics, get into your game if you're not already in there, and just go over some really basic things about waves. Some people have not played waves. So first, where are these waves located? These are located near your other waves. Now, in the past, the regular Section 31 waves, those were blue and the mirrors were gold. Well, now both the regular and the mirrors have been turned to the blue wave space, and the gold spaces are actually your new solo waves. They're broken up into 3 sections. The G4, which is 45 through 50 level hostiles, the G5, which is level 50 through 55 hostiles, and the G6 space, which is level 60 through 65 hostiles. How do we get these? How do we start these things? Where to get these ciphers from? That's a
Are
question.
you asking me? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're teaching together. This is a
teaching together.
group
Oh,
thing.
this will be good. So, to
God.
earn the solo wave defense Section 31 ciphers, they're actually located in the exact same space as they were before. If you come into the Section 31 faction store, then you're going to see a new entry up here at the top, which is literally called Section 31 Private Ciphers. And for those who are looking for a little bit more clarity, you'll notice here and throughout the store that anything that is using the solo or pertaining to the solo loop is going to have a little tag up there at the top. Inside parentheses, you'll see the word solo. So your directives are coming in here. This is one of the things that we are advocating for as a player base, and as the player advisory panel and the moderators and the content creators all alike are advocating, because we're not seeing the expected number of directives here, Jules. At the time of launch, we were looking to see a few more than what we got. What we see currently right here is 100 directives every 3 days, which is certainly not enough in my mind for this to feel like a substantial or a suitable replacement mechanic for Mirror Universe and traditional Section 31 wave defense.
And we've already got into the subjective commentary. I'm
Damn
messing
it.
with you. But the one thing I wanted to point out, there are a couple facts. Yes, it's a 3-day cooldown. Yes, you get one wave start every 3 days. There's a max of 400, which is 4 starts. It does not cost any credits like the mirror ciphers used to. So that is the current sourcing for these. Now, there's a little bit different. First, you can actually have up to 3 ships in these waves. These waves do not last 10 waves. There are only 5 for the G6, the G5, and there's only 3 waves for the G4 solo waves. They also have 10 minutes to prep, so you can hit the defend button, you can get in there, you can get your ships in there, you can get all set up before you start the solo armada, or before you start the solo wave. If you do not wish to continue, you can always back out and it will not charge you the ciphers, just like in the regular waves. So it does not charge you if you abandon before the 10 minutes. So that's the big overview of these. And we want to get into a little bit of crewing and some tips. But I think what's important is what is unique and different about these particular wave hostiles. And for that, you're going to need to go to the spreadsheet, because I have a breakdown for you. I'm posting this link in the Twitch chat, and I'll also post this in the Talking Track podcast chat room, and somebody will post this in the graphics room as well. This is our Section 31 Faction Wave Defense sheet. If you can go over to Solo Wave Tips and Tricks, that's probably be the best place to start. DJs, thank you. So at the very top, you can see we have the Solo Wave Defense spawn map, courtesy of Sanguine Otter. I was able to provide him some data from a start that I did right at the beginning of this arc. And so he was able to quickly whip out these waves. And I'm sure there's already merch out there with these wave maps out. So I've even broke it down a little bit further, so you can see in the G4, G5, and G6 which types of hostiles, which levels are going to come into each wave. The red is the Orion, and that is a different type of hostile with a different type of boost. So we can scroll a little bit down and we'll see more of our specific hostile abilities. I'm also going to throw in the chat here, this is a link to just a hostile in general, just so we can kind of take a look at its ability. The ability, it's got 2 different abilities, active abilities. One is increasing all piercing stats, weapon damage, and apex barrier. And the other ability is increasing ISO damage and ISO defense. Note there is a comma. I missed this. And decrease opponent's crit damage per round. That means that the ISO damage and the ISO defense do not change per round. It is only the opponent's crit damage, which is, by the way, your crit damage when you are attacking these hostiles. Okay, so with that in mind, there is no values attached to these stats. So it is actually a little bit difficult to kind of parse out what these actual things are, but the lab has been hard at work for you folks. And if we go back to our spreadsheet, we've actually been able to sort of deduce some of these numbers. First off, for piercing, so ship's abilities at battle start. Piercing stats, this is a really tough thing for us to nail down because it requires us knowing a lot about our normal base mitigation against this very specific hostile, and we weren't able to get accurate numbers. I'm not even sure the G6 numbers I came up with are accurate. Even Quirky Zombie and I were trying to figure out how to run a script to figure all this out. All to say, and the most important thing about this particular ship ability is that it increases its own piercing stats, which means Moreau does not work. Well, she works, but she's useless. If you look at Moreau's ability, she decreases the piercing stats of the hostile by 70%, which can be boosted up to 100%. That is why you always get max mitigation. But if this hostile is boosting its own piercing stats, then if you're minusing 70% from, say, 400%, you're still getting a very large piercing value, which is going to lower your mitigation. So Moreau is not effective against these hostiles in any wave. So that's including, the G4 up to obviously the G551s. So I would not recommend Pike and Moreau as you're starting for your crews. Next, we have weapon damage. Weapon damage is increasing against all of these, some of them more than others. You can see in the Orions, which is highlighted in red, that it is an extreme amount of weapon damage boost. What does this mean? Chen, Talon, and Kath, both regular weapon damage decreasers, are very effective against normal hostiles who do not have an inherent weapon damage boost. However, these have an inherent weapon damage boost, which means they are useless. So right away, your Pike, Moreau, Chen, your PMC, that is not the primary crew to fly into this space. Now we start getting into some of the newer things that we've been seeing. Apex Barrier. We don't have a ton of hostiles with Apex Barrier, so you may not have come across this, but Apex Barrier is going to mitigate all of the damage after you have fired both of your ISO shots and your regular shots and crits and everything else. It's then going to reduce the damage that you actually get through. The only way to combat a hostile's Apex Barrier at this time is Apex Shred. So for PvE DJs, and there is a couple of tools for Apex Shred. So Apex Shred favors will help a lot. These are in your Section 31 store. They are newly released favors specifically for inside your solo waves. Now, there's a quick graphic, and you're going to take a look at and show where these are in the store. You've got a cute shred, and this is for your ships. So, for instance, if you're flying all explorers, it may be worth only upgrading Traceless Shred to its max, because that's going to boost your explorer against the non-armada hostiles. So, if you're running mostly one ship type, you can kind of focus where you're spending your credits there. But what is the impact there? It's kind of hard to know because we don't really. It's a new mechanic. I have a small graphic thanks to Magoo in our lab, who has provided our favor level and what the actual net damage increase is going to be compared to no shred. So just getting to, say, level 3, well, you're going to increase the damage that you're getting through by 50%. Getting all the way to level 5, so maxing that shred, you're going to double the amount of damage that you would normally put into the hostile. So they're very effective at reducing that Apex Barrier, just these favors alone. There's only one officer in the game that provides PvE Apex Shred, and that is our brand new Epic Officer, Section 31, Giorgio. So if you are a PvE player and you want to get better at these solo waves, you're looking for a new officer, a new tool, well, maybe this weekend is your weekend. So Section 31, this would be her officer ability, increases Apex Shred against non-armada hostiles. So that is third of its ship abilities. And you can see it increases a lot with the Orions, which will typically get in the very last or second to last wave of our hostile, of our map here. So you'll hit those really difficult hostiles at the very end. They also have an inherent ISO damage increase and ISO defense increase. To combat those, there is a couple of things that can boost your ISO defense. There's actually lots of things that boost your ISO defense against hostiles, including research artifacts, fleet commanders, everything. But there's only one officer that can do something against these their ISO damage that boosts your ISO defense, and that's Pelia. Whether she's on the bridge, which will actually reduce the ISO damage itself. So sort of think of it like as a damage reduction. And then Pelia's below deck ability is increasing your ISO defense. So think of that as like isolytic mitigation. She's not very effective as an officer in her officer ability, reducing ISO damage against the G5 and G6 hostiles because they just have such a large amount, and taking up a bridge slot is highly valuable. But maybe if you're a G4 player with a high level Pelia, maybe worth experimenting with her in an officer slot. And then ISO defense it's just going to be reducing how much isolytic damage that you can get through. What we've seen, particularly with high level players against the biggest Orion 65 with 850%, we're seeing like less than 10% of our isolytic damage getting through. So how do you combat that? Well, you could go with just more damage. You could go with trying to get more base damage or critical damage versus focusing so much on isolytic damage. But there's really not much we can do to combat their isolytic defense itself, that particular statistic. Then lastly, the ship ability that stacks per round is negative opponent's critical damage. Now, we've seen something similar to this. This was with, correct me if I'm wrong, this is with Zindi, right? The Zindis reduce your critical damage by a certain percentage, and that's when they released critical floor. Yeah. And at the time, we were like, okay, well, that basically is going to bring you down to 0. So don't run anything with crits. Take Hue off below decks. Don't run crits. And who was it at the time? Was it Bubba? Somebody said at the time, like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. I've got 2,000% critical damage. So I'm still going above what the Zindies can reduce. And that's not necessarily not the case here, too. For instance, I was doing some testing myself, and I found that I was getting still, even after this ability was starting to stack on me, still getting upwards of hundreds to thousands of critical damage bonus, even with this reduction. So if you do not have a high crit damage boost against these hostiles, then I would suggest critical floor as a place to go look for. Particularly if you're going to run a crew that is there for survival. So if you're looking to go several rounds, well, you're very quickly going to get to your critical floor. So boosting your critical floor is pretty good to look at. Right now, there is one free-to-play source for critical floor, which is the Omega critical floor. So I would check that out if you are looking to go for longer rounds.
You can get the prime from Dolomite.
And the export favors.
And the export favors.
Yep, there's the export favor, and you're right, the Dolomite prime for getting more critical floor. So those are a few things to combat that particular ship ability. But one thing, too, to remember is even if you get to your critical floor, your hull breach will still multiply that by 1.5. So if your critical floor is 200%, and you have a hull breach, you're actually going to still throw 300% critical damage. So actually having hull breach on there is going to be probably more important than maybe a critical damage officer itself. Something to look at. And then lastly, one final fact about these particular hostiles. All of these hostiles have the same firing pattern, which is 6 weapons and many, many shots per weapon. There's a couple of officers that thrive on that. Hue, below deck's ability. He basically has a proc chance every time you get hit with a weapon. Well, if you have, this many weapons, you're going to have lots of procs and get to 100% crit chance very quickly. Probably around 2, you'll get to 100% crit chance, no problem with Hue below deck. And there's some other officers too that are triggered by every time you get hit. So you can look at that as well. I'm being told it's the Orbit Medallions Prime, I think, what I'm seeing in chat. Okay, So those are the big hostile info. And I've assembled some crewing suggestions. This is both from personal testing, this is from our lab, and this is from other content creators. You may need to zoom a little bit out so you can see this because you are crewing 3 ships. So each of these crewing suggestions has loadouts for each of your 3 ships that doesn't have any overlap. This first one is just because I submitted it first. What I like to do is I like to have a little bit of speed on some of my faster ships so they can bounce around and hit more than more than 2 of the hostiles. You have 6 hostiles in every single round, 2 of each ship type. So if you're trying to keep tight to saying I'm only going to send my explorer against interceptors, well, you only have to target 2 hostiles. But if you have one really strong ship, particularly when you get to the later rounds, you're going to want that ship to be bouncing around a lot and killing a lot of the bigger hostiles, taking some of the brunt of the heat off of your other 2 ships. So I like to put speed. So I've got speed, I got ISO damage, crits on every single one of my ships, whether that is an officer ability or below deck ability. And I'm trying to spread out where I'm getting hull breach on some of my ships as well. So I've got my Enterprise E team, which is Ent E Riker, Picard, and Data as on my bridge of my first ship. My second is Janeway, Doctor, and I have hull breach on here. And then my third ship this is the one that I'm using to go for a lot of rounds. So I'm building up my mitigation and my apex barrier. So Nesmith is a great officer to use. So is Anorax or your Section 31 Georgiou. Are 3 different apex barrier officers now in the game, all recently sourced. So whether you have Nesmith because he's been in the game for a while, or whether you're going to bank on getting Georgiou this weekend. I've also kind of included a bunch of crit damage because I'm still getting above their critical reduction, and I'm trying to kill them fast with these crews, at least my 2 top strongest ships. Matters, do you want to explain your crew setup here? Possibly. Possibly not. Lube and Rev Deuce also have some videos out. Oh, you're here?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. I was trying to find the mute button. I got to remember what they are first. I got to look at these for a sec. Oh yeah. Okay. So I mean, similar to Jules. I mean, I'm combining kind of all factors as much as I can into every ship. Big thing for me is always hull breach. I did want to make sure I had hull breach on all my ships, as well as like a decent critical chance. Because regardless of how much they nerf your crits, the hull breach will still give you a 50% higher damage to those shots, which is huge. So I've got a Gorkon on 1, I've got my Torres under decks on the 2nd, and I've got Lorca on the 3rd. And then I pretty much just spread out my crews for survivability and power. I'm capitalizing on the Nova Squadron researches by making sure I'm trying to utilize the states as much as possible. So I've got all 3 states on the first ship. Second ship is a battleship, so I made sure I had burning with Georgiou to give me it'll give me the hull repair from the Export favor as well as the boosts that are in the Nova Squadron research. And then on my third ship, which is an interceptor, that's getting that from the hull breach. So other than that, I mean, it's combination high mitigation as much as I can, and a little bit of speed on my strongest ship for the same reason, so it can kind of zip around and take some pressure off the other guys. And it's just the balanced all around good crews.
What I was noticing, particularly with my crewing and my testing, I was trying to figure out what the piercing stats were. And I was using my G5 Epic against the highest level G6 hostile. And my mitigation, without any mitigation officers on the bridge, was above 65%. Now, maybe that's just because that's where my account is. I'm very PvE focused, so I try to excel in that area, and maybe that's why my mitigation is so high. But I would challenge anybody here to check out their actual mitigation and see for themselves whether having a mitigating officer is necessary or not against these hostiles, because they do have very low base piercing stats. So even with a high piercing bonus, it may not be high enough to overcome your mitigation. There's also lots of two things that we didn't really explore a lot was the Strange New Worlds crew. And so I see that in lubes, I see that in revs, and I've seen that kind of also around a lot of recommendations using Strange New Worlds, both for some of their ship abilities, using some speed with Una, using Spike to kind of get some shield mitigation, hopefully kind of extend those battles. Rev has also kind of put one of the new crews out there, which is Anorak's Full Synergy. Really, he just likes all of the officer abilities because Anorak's captain's ability does not work. There is no loot in any of these hostiles. There's no chests. Therefore, no loot gain officers are really going to be helpful in this. But with Suitor giving you hull repair and Seska giving you shield repair and Anorak's giving you apex barrier, he kind of built a crew that is all about just extending the battle for as long as possible, staying alive and allowing the natural damage output of his ship to take down his enemy. Some other things to kind of like circle back on that I was seeing in the chat. Lexel was talking about crit floor. Now that's still, if you're a fresh G4 player, you may not have access to all of the crit damage floor that's available to you. So if you have something that's less than 100%, you do not want to actually have crit chance increases on your ships because that will give you less crit damage than what you're doing. But it is a lot more attainable. There's lots of free-to-play sourcing out there. There's even a max critical floor attainable of 400%. So that can be pretty high. And with Hull Breach, that's 600% crit. So crits are still important even with this ship ability reducing your crit damage. Did you have any initial suggestions, DJs, or anything else that any other officers that you wanted to point out?
You know, when I ran these the other day myself, I started with the G6 ones. I cleared round 3 and then got to round 4 and just got wore out. And that's because you start running into these Orions, right? And the Orions are coming into massive weapon damage, massive apex barrier, just a lot of stuff to chew through that is probably going to end up, you know, for a lower level G6 like myself, is probably going to end up needing stronger G6 ships or some of this PvE Apex Shred, okay, Apex Barrier Shred that is going to become available. That being said, once there's a chart, and I'm sure we're going to see this here in just a moment. Do not be scared at punching down, okay? Because I looked at this very, very quickly and realized that here they are right here. These payouts are very much like a lot of other waves in that there's not a ton of incentive to punch up to a higher wave if you can't finish it, right? For example, if you can completely finish all 5 waves of the G6 version, you're only making 4,500 of the solo credits. But even if you can't finish round 5, like even if you just got through round 4, you're only getting 3,100, okay? But if I finish the G5 all 5 rounds, I can actually get 3,700. That's 600 more credits. So just like with all the other waves, if you can completely finish the previous generation as compared to not finishing the higher one, then absolutely go down and finish it. And don't be scared about that. Like even for those of you playing in the G4, all right, to finish a G4 solo is only 3 waves, takes literally 2 to 3 minutes. And you're going to walk with 1,800 credits. But you would have to complete wave 4 of the G5 solo before you can do better than that. You see? So if you can't finish wave 4, then you might as well punch down. And then that kind of nullifies the whole conversation about crew. All right? Now, obviously, crew is going to be really, really important if you are trying to punch up and trying to finish. For me, Jules, and I know that I saw this yesterday. Cruzito said this, K92 said this, Jonathan said this, that these were supposed to be challenging and they were cutting right through them. And I'm sure that G6 rares and G6 epics are having no trouble doing that. But I was trying a G6 solo with G5 epics. and that was not going to get me very far. So I am.
Well, I would challenge you. I would challenge you to try again with your G5 epics, because I bet you didn't do a few things.
Well,
I bet there's some tips and tricks that we are giving today here that may change the outcome of your battle.
Absolutely. And there are a couple of things that we're going to look at tonight, including how to balance out the crew a little bit, balancing survivability and damage output, and then a combination of some of these boosts and fortifications, which we're going to talk about coming up here in just a few moments. And so I'm not saying that it can't be done. Okay, I'm certainly not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying I've only played 3 rounds or four rounds, I believe, and that initial, I only tried one in G6, and then I saw some of this data, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to relax for a minute, because I was also just strategy-wise, I was trying to load up on the solo credits so I could get a jump start on some of these favors. All right, that was a big deal as well. However, you might be on the edge, as Jules indicates. You might be on the edge of punching and clearing out that G6, or you might be a G4 who's punching up and trying to clear out those G5s. These tips and tricks tonight that Jules will present will be good for anybody who's looking for that extra little bit of edge that are trying to punch up. So, Jules, if you're right there on the edge and you're trying to get to the next level, or rather trying not to get down, because again, they are locked. And I heard what you were saying, Karkin. A G4 can't get into G5, which I understand. But maybe you might be.
I didn't want to interrupt any further. I just wanted to, yeah.
You're right. But what if you're a lower G5 who feels like they can't finish against those huge Orion ships there at the end of the G5? That's where I'm kind of talking about here.
Yep. Gotcha.
Yeah. So actually, to answer Spectre's question and to give you a tip, he was asking, should I switch BLT if my strongest ship is not an interceptor, just for the ship ability? And the answer is yes, because there is an X-Borg hull favor. And what we got to remember is it's a little bit about surviving, not just the first shots, but also possibly even the first full round. So one of my tips is to have this status effect officer on the corresponding ship type. So that would be having Taurus on your interceptor, or having Harry Kim on your explorer, or having Neelix on your battleship. And if you don't have those officers maxed, then potentially using Lorca or Giorgio on those ships, or even Kirk on those ships, to get you the morale, hull breach, and the burning that you may need to get those X-Borg hull repair favors. So those are big. Another big one is obviously the Apex Shred favors. As you were saying, you were just starting to run some in order to kind of get a head start on those favors. And I would heavily encourage you to, because as you can see here under the Apex barrier. Hi, honey.
Hi, baby Jules.
Okay.
Oh, Daddy, go play with her. All right, let's finish this up so you can go play.
It's almost her bedtime. Yeah. So what you can see here, what you can see here is that the Apex Shred favors are going to increase your net damage. This is huge. We talk about net damage increases of 2 times. Well, we weren't talking about that even when Isolitic came out. We were just like, oh my gosh, net damage increase of 5%. That's huge. Here we're looking at double your damage against these, or even more against these hostiles. So do not skip out on the Apex Shred favors if you are struggling there.
Like fist all the time.
Yes, there's also the boosts. Let's talk about the boosts. So you cannot boost before going into the waves, because your ships have to be docked in order to enter the wave. So this is a key point here. Do not try to boost before going to the wave. Have your ships docked, send 2 ships in there, and send your 3rd ship as your boost ship. So your Cerritos or your Titan. Then you will boost the ships that are there inside the wave, recall your Cerritos and or Titan, and swap out for your 3rd ship. So your 3rd ship will not get a boost. What I like to do is have my weaker ships be boosted and have my strongest ship be the last one that I swap out, because I don't necessarily need it to have a boost. Then lastly, Lorca's Fist. This is huge in the last wave. You're starting to hit these last 6 hostiles. Well, you're probably going to hit them within the 1-minute timer that you have on Locust Fist. So that can be a huge help in the very last little bit of running your last wave. Some other things that may help you, we've talked about mitigation officers a lot. We only used stat-based mitigation officers because Moreau does not do a lot with the piercing bonus that they have. So if you've got Doc, you're going to be boosting with health stat. If you've got either Paris below deck or some of the other Stage 2 worlds or Beverly Crusher on deck, you'll be using defense or some of the other stats. Additionally, your damage exocomps work really well, and also running an impulse speed alliance exocomp if your alliance has those. Other alliance mates, that would be if G5 sourcing, G5 players would have that sourcing. So if you have G5 players in there that may have this in their bank, and you ask them, hey, can you activate this exocomp and let's all go into our waves and get a little bit boost there, just so you don't have to focus so much on your impulse in your actual crew. This will help a lot. And the reason that helps, another pro tip, is to watch for the inner circle spawns. There's one particular hostile that is a huge headache for a lot of players, and that is wave 4, the Explorer in the 6 o'clock position. It starts real close to that center. So if you're not prepared for that particular hostile, you're going to need a rush to get there. And in some cases, that can be a pretty tough hostile. So, for instance, in the G6, that could be an Orion. So that is some quick pros, tips and tricks. Some other things, some other researches or artifacts to look into. The Star Path research is particularly the morale shield regen. Take a look at that and make sure that you have that at least started off, because that can take some of that 1 billion shot damage you're getting from those Orions, can kind of reduce that, or at least give you some more shield mitigation for that first shot. And then there's obviously the hull repair favors and our export favor tree. Panel, do we have any other pros tips for particular artifacts, researches, favors, or anything else that you think may be useful?
All the things. Use all of them. Use every tool in your toolbox.
I want to.
Yeah, there's Forbidden Tech and Chaos Tech that. Particularly the Godsend that has just come out today, that has Apex Shred as one of its buffs, so that could be pretty effective. What else?
So we were mad at having 2 starts every 3 days or whatever, 1 start every 3 days. This could be to help players space out their buffs, because we've had a lot of content come out recently that needs Titan boost, that needs Cerritos boost, that might need Lorca boost. So this might actually be helpful for players that might be needing to punch up on content or trying to not be wasting a bunch of buffs to try and do that.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I was kind of thinking the same thing. Yesterday, I basically had a choice, because I wanted to go run, what is it? The charged and static invading entities, or I could run solo wave defense. And because I only had enough for 1 max fortify. So I don't want to necessarily speculate that was their mindset there, Tarpy, but I think that we can make the best of a bad situation. Listen, at the end of the day, this was kind of one of the comments. I actually was in a meeting with them earlier today, and I simply said, we have this same thing with Mirror Universe, and, then that flexed out a little bit. I simply don't understand the mindset of limiting the gameplay for players who are wanting to engage and play your game. You know what I'm saying? That concept is just kind of wild to me, that we're literally saying, here's this new, great, amazing thing, and you're not allowed to play. You know what I'm saying? I find that to be just very, very odd. Scopely has used this model more than once. I find it very, very odd. That being said, Tarpy, I don't necessarily disagree with your finding lemonade and lemon situation. Use this as an opportunity to kind of space out your buffs, be super efficient, use all the tips and tricks, use all the buffs, maximize your payout for the run that you're going to get. But at the same time, that does not, in my mind, let them off the hook for poor directive sourcing.
So it's a little bit different than that, though. Like, if you look for the first few days, they gave us 6 extra starts in a gift. So we did get, or 5 extra starts in a gift or something like that. So we don't have none. They also have the Wave Pass, which these new starts are going to be incorporated in the Wave Pass going forward. So no, that's not a lot of extra starts every month, but that is a few extra ones. Whose keyboard sounds like Hammy's?
That's mine.
Uh-oh.
So before we continue in the commentary, I did want to wrap up this segment before we can kind of get into our opinions about the thing. But the quick and dirty is basically wrapped up. I think there was one more thing that was thrown in the chat. Dr. Juby, thank you for throwing out the field repairs. If you have a field repair for one of your ships, which would be the G5 uncommons and up, is that right? Can't remember if.
Yes.
Oh no, sorry. The G4 uncommons,
for...
the G4 commons, the G5 uncommons, the G5 epics, the G6 uncommons, and now the G6 rares all have field repairs. That is a very useful tool. A Mega 13 device, great. That's a great call out. Voltron, so it gets you one extra little punch there. Thank you for that. So yeah, these are. Oh, I'm going to throw those tips and tricks back into the spreadsheet. So when people kind of look at this later, they'll have those. That's basically all I wanted to talk about as far as the major tips and tricks. Is there anything else you wanted to wrap up with, DJs?
Not as far as subjective commentary. Asking in the chat, I do see Vul is asking about the static and charged exos. Those are not going to apply here because you don't have an effect. You're not going to be able to apply that effect. That is, these targets don't have the ability to carry that effect. So, no. Now, that being said, I have had people ask the question, will the original wave defense, research, favors, and officers work? That is actually correct. Yes, even Laliari, that officer will work. All of the original wave defense, favors work. So all of that is going to work towards combining and getting your efforts working better towards these. And I am going to point out, and again, this is subjective. I love the fact that these are hard. We could talk a little bit more about this, Jules, but Scopely has been making a stronger effort here as of late to provide challenging content. Now, it may not be challenging for K9 Tooth or challenging for Jonathan Ingram. It may not be challenging for everybody across the board, but for a broad swath of the player base, these are not mindless droning on of killing 30 hostiles and being done. This is requiring strategy. It's requiring tools. It's requiring the use of a lot of game knowledge. And for that, I actually am very, very happy. It was funny, Jules, I saw this in the chat a little bit ago. It seems like Scopely, this is a funny comment. I don't know how accurate it actually is or whether or not it's actually funny. I find it hilarious. That Scopely has got more thought put into Section 31 than Paramount did. The game design mechanics are better than the movie actually was. But I appreciate this style of content. Not to say that I'm sure that there's going to be other content that comes in the future that will make this easy. Scopely does have a pattern. Okay, they really do have a pattern. We will, I'm sure, see officers, primes, favors, skins or ships or something. We're going to see something that is going to improve players' ability to participate in these. And that's fine. But just like when Zindi first came out in its first month, when Silence came out in their first month, same thing with the invading entities both times. The Borg, polygons, and solos before the Revenant, all of these things were challenging pieces of content that tools later came for. And this, I'm sure, is not going to be any exception, but I do love the fact that there's some complexity behind this game design.
I agree,
yeah.
and I've seen a general. I think the player base has been approaching this as, oh man, these are tough, and I want to get better. Like I want to figure out how do I get better at this. I haven't seen a lot of, oh, these are impossible, I give up, and I this is immediately a fail. And so I think that's I'm happy that the community is taking that approach versus this is dead on arrival. So this is a great approach. I'm glad that they're hard, and I'm glad that we are able to give advice and give pro tips and show ways of getting better without buying packs. So this is, I think, great for all players.
Absolutely. And when you take a look at what all of this is for, and that's going to be the next question, what is all this for? Why should I care? You know, they've also done a pretty decent job with their faction stores here lately. And this faction store is no exception. There is a ton of content that they've put in here. The faction store is very, very, very good. As in, there is an absolute ton of options for you in here, and it will take a very long time for you to dig through everything that's in here. But there is a lot of variety and a lot of choice, and a lot of opportunity for you to work on things that are important to you. We've talked about the Soren's Trilithium artifacts, the Anaran Execution Post. These are good artifacts. All right, these are very good artifacts that were previously paid-only pieces of content. And I might add, paid-only pieces of content not that long ago. You know, these are not a year or 2 years old. The Lurpa just came out last month. Last month, it was paid-only on its introduction, and now you've got a way to grind this out. Obviously, it's going to be a long road. It's going to be slow, but there are grinders' paths here, and this is really important. Jules, when you're taking a look at this store, and I see a really important question in the chat. By the way, I don't think there's a right answer to this, but the question in the chat from more than one person is, what do I focus on first? Jules, do you have an opinion on what it is that you look at first?
I will give you that opinion when we take our commercial break.
Oh, you're going to make me take a break. Okay, got it. All right, then, everybody. Jules Vern is going to make me take a break. So we're going to do that. And when we come back, we will have more. See, he's going to make me load up an actual commercial break, which I did not have loaded. So I'm going to have to. Oh, man, he just Seacrested me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more on the Section 31 faction store and what Jules wants you to focus on next. It all comes up right after this. My name is UltimatDJz. This is Talking Trek Live, Star Trek Fleet Command's official podcast here with the Solo Wave Defense Section 31 arc breakdown, our inaugural episode of the new arc. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
You looking for ways to enhance your gaming experience inside Star Trek Fleet Command? Well, Surtail has the answers for your health and wellness needs, especially while gaming. Gummies to sharpen the mind when you can't come up with 14 words where 3 would do. Surtail is an independent distributor of all aerial products that you would need to improve your gaming experience. Surtail also distributes bath salts, CBD creams and oils, weight loss products, protein shakes, workout aids, Delta 8 gummies, and so much more. Message Surtail on Discord or go to crazybunch.org. Today's show brought to you in part by the Musgrove Trial Firm in Georgia. Have you suffered personal injury in Georgia? You need a buddy. Give Buddy at the Musgrove Trial Firm a call, 678-226-1994. Visit them online at musgrovetrialfirm.com. Yo, what's up, Commanders? Great news about PvPtarget.com. You've known for a while that it exists and has some great reference tools regarding PvP banding and common crew loadouts, but they've recently launched brand new tools on the site, including a brand new cargo calculator page as well. This isn't your typical max cargo style calculator, but a brand new, unique tool that identifies the timer until you go over cargo. The game timer might tell you how long to zero the node, but how long until your miner is at risk? You can find out now by using the brand spanking new cargo calculator at PvPtarget.com.
Dr. Doobie was a star, down goes your door. Mason jars full of farts, collect them for your art. Office this neighbor strange, attorney out of range, asbestos for a snack, living life off track. Dawn goes in every shade, farts and jars escape. Dr. Juby's got the gear, techno beats right here. Every dawn will type, chords and ports unite. Fart jars on the shelf, oddest of the wealth. Dr. Juby runs the store, don't go through a door.
All right. Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. Polish. Yes, I need to make new commercials. It's like I gotta make new ones. Drew says I'm over never-ending commercials when I pay to avoid them. Never-ending, it was like 90 seconds. But here's the thing: when we do a podcast, Twitch makes us take the breaks, so it's kind of tough to synchronize and simulcast everything. But obviously, there are more benefits than just simply skipping the commercial breaks here inside the Twitch chat. You also have the amazing Discord groups where you can come in and hang out inside the internal chats and so forth and so on. But I do appreciate your support very much. And I do need to make more show sponsor commercials. At the end of the day, you don't end up having to take the ads from Twitch. At least they are custom for us in our community and so forth. Is it over on YouTube? Does YouTube have a lot of ads? Yikes. Yeah, see, and honestly, we actually just got a notification this past week that Twitch was upping their commercial placement inside Twitch. So the fact that we're grandfathered in, we're fortunate, Drew, that we got in and we started taking our regular clock commercial breaks when we did, because we're grandfathered in now at 3 minutes an hour. But a lot of the newer channels are getting more than that, and they don't have the option of opting out. So, we're kind of lucky that we're grandfathered in with the partner program that we've got now. But it looks like they're going to be ramping up even more. That being said, at least they are custom content for our channel. But I do need to make some new ones. And I wasn't prepared to take a commercial break, or I would have had something funny to share with you. That's why I hit the Dr. Juby button. I didn't have anything else.
I like these. These are some great new music that you've been
yeah, that's all I had. Bull says, are you going to post poolside Speedo pics on Patreon? Yeah, sure. No. That didn't happen this year. Honestly, I did not. You jumped
in the pool.
I did jump in the pool. I did not play. I fell in.
Water?
I did not play as much this year as even last year. I felt like I worked a lot last year. Holy crap! I worked so much this year. I feel like we worked way more this year than we did last year. And obviously, you guys can probably tell we put out a ton of content. I still have so much more to do, but it was it was nonstop. I did not have a chance to. I did not take enough time for myself on this one, Jules. I should have, and I didn't. I joked with Griffin when we got home. I was like, okay, now I need a real vacation because. Yeah, it was a lot of work. I worked probably 14 hours a day, every day. It was crazy. I took a nap one day, like 3.5 hours. I took a nap, and that was it. That was all I had. So, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I needed a vacation from the vacation. So, anywho, right before the break, everybody, Jules Vern was kind of teasing you guys. He pulled a Ryan Seacrest on you real well there about what it is that you should be focusing on in the Section 31 faction store with regards to the new content that was added this month with the launch of the Section 31 property inside the game. A ton of new artifacts, chaos tech, forbidden tech, and even some directives, emblems of assessment, quantum communicators were added in. Zindi rare directives, pretty important there. Anorax's data pad, paid only. The Friendship One probe and Amelia Earhart's plane, paid only. Efficiency artifacts. Lots of stuff introduced. Jules, if a player is looking at these 20-plus bundles, where do they focus first?
Well, I think that the general advice for any time a new store comes out, and I'm going to use the Xborg and then the DTI store, when you have these drips that come in from what you're actually engaging in, one thing you always try to do is first increase your effectiveness getting that drip. So in this case, what is going to help you specifically in solo waves? Well, that's your favors. We've already kind of talked about the Apex Shred favors, but that's also looking at like Anorax's Datapad. Anorax's Datapad provides you Apex Barrier. The DTI temporal device provides you isolated defense. So maybe if you're looking at some of the artifacts to just target first, these ones will actually help you get better in this loop. Some other things that may be helpful early on in the loop is actually going back now that you're getting some Section 31 credits and in doing the original Section 31 favors. I mean, how many have all of those maxed? I'm pretty sure a lot of players got to a point where they said, I don't need to max these. I'd rather use my Section 31 credits on other things in the store, like rep or anything else. Now it may be worthwhile to go back and say, I need to improve my ability to work in this loop. Because remember, folks, this is part 1. Part 2 may include more hostiles, harder hostiles. They may include something else that's related to this. So if we can get better now on working against these hostiles, we may be better suited for what's to come. Second, so that's the first major group, things that will improve your game here. The second major group is exclusive sourcing. So that is the Chaos Tech, that is the other artifacts in here, Friendship When Probe and Amelia Earhart, including that really boosts your efficiency and your ship upgrades. Scotty's Trident is an old one, but it's very poorly sourced. So by getting more sourcing here, you can actually expedite your ship parts efficiency on ships as well. But which Chaos Tech you do, that's more based on what your style of gameplay is. If you're not a big PvPer, you're going to ignore Unimatrix shielding and ignore Soren's Trilithium, and you're going to focus more on potentially the multiphasic chamber or the Anaran execution post to expedite your Gorn loop. Then the last is, what is the end game mechanics? What are the things that are basically put in now that are there for the rest of your time? If you're not going to be spending them on the artifacts, these exclusive sourcing, you've unlocked all of those, what is going to be the continued expenditure of this currency? And that is the drip of the parts, like the quantum communicators for your command center. That is the emblem of assessment, which I think has a lot less value nowadays because there is other sourcing in the game for that. Our monotactical cores, which when we first saw this, DJs, we thought that was a mistake and that was supposed to be rare, and it's not. So I don't know. Maybe there is some Ops 45 players who really need regular tactical cores, but that wasn't a problem, 3 years ago when we were going through that loop.
I don't remember that being an issue either.
I don't think it's an issue.
Well, and here's the thing. Some of these issues or some of these currencies I can see being somewhat important, but I'm going to draw a slightly different parallel and take a look down here, because that is where I thought you were going, was now full releases of all strike team officers. I think this is very, very big, and especially when we look at, we've talked about the strength of Carol Freeman. Now with Apex Shred, we are going to go back to where Freeman is going to rule the day. All right, now, listen, this is where I tread carefully on talking about subjective content matter. However, let me just be real clear and say
we're done with my teaching segment. You can go for it now.
Well, here's the deal. Apex Shred is concerning to me, to say the least. I said at the very beginning, before the art came out, it was kind of my warning to Scopely. It was my shot across the bow not to release this in excess numbers. And my gosh, there's already 150% available in the game today for pay. It's or 125. It's unbelievable how quickly these mechanics can come out to just tank months and months and months of research and investment for players. That being said, there is a small caveat to this, not of which I will endorse, I'm not going to praise this because it's an accident. All right. But as a result of Apex Shred coming into the game and undoing all of the good that came from Apex Barrier, what you will eventually see is the return of Freeman's superiority and who attacks first. Okay? Or who attacks last, rather. That is what you're going to see. So the fact that all of these strike team officers, including Carol Freeman, are here now, I find to be a positive thing. Okay? It is the silver lining,
it's always
if
been
you will.
there.
Freeman's always been there. Freeman. Okay, so it was the new strike teams were up here. Fair.
Which we kind of all just discussed was they're not great.
They're not great.
Especially for moving away. And they all do Apex Barrier of some degree. So if we're going away from Apex Barrier, that brand new content that just came out in the last 3 months is invalidated. Therefore, not valuable, which is why I skipped it.
Okay. Secondary silver lining is an additional source of credits that can be converted into either mirror or Section 31 credits. There you go, okay? If that is what you want to look at, if you want to invest more into Sloan skill points, or if you want to invest more into Carol Freeman and these officers down here, or even some of the older favors, which is debatable, all right? You do now have an additional income of the solo credits that can be converted into sizable amounts of original credits. So that, while probably not necessarily their chief primary goal, and not one that we would probably recommend as a chief primary goal, but as far as an end game type of goal, definitely do have extra income on the Section 31 credits again. All right. And Vic says, aren't original strike teams worthless if Carol is on top again? That will eventually happen, yes, but now you've got additional credits that you can convert and spend on Carol Freeman now as well. Okay. So that's one thing that I would have looked at.
There's two more things that I wanted to chat about in here, and that is some of the new favors, the shadow market and the refinery overhaul. So first, refinery overhaul. You can take a look at that one. The text is a little bit weird, but I have answers. It says, increasing payout of all broken ship parts to Explorer ship parts refineries up to grade 6. So some people were saying, I don't want more broken ship parts. Some people were saying, how much does it increase? The bonus just says 1. What does that mean? Here is your answer. Take a look in your ship parts refinery, and all of the numbers that you see there, double them.
Also, it is a double. 100% bonus.
It's a double. And if you also have some of the prime refineries, that adds a 1+ chest to all of those, it stacks. So right now we're taking a look at your grade 6 Battle Sharp parts for your account. And I'm just going to take an example. Your highest payout is 76-star rare battleship parts. It will become 140.
Okay.
So it's just a straight double. Yep, 1 becomes 2. Exactly. So that is what the refinery overhaul does. The second part is ship parts, is the shadow market, which unlocks ship parts conversion. Now, it's a shadowy, shock, because you can't actually see, you can kind of see ship part conversions, but you cannot see what the costs are. So I've placed this into our chat room on the Discord, and it's also going to be posted in the graphics room shortly, is the ship parts conversion chart. So what this does is, just like your bonus materials conversion, it's going to require a token. There will be a drip for the token, 1 token per day. And there's one-time claims. So each time you unlock a favor, you'll get a bonus of 33 tokens. And that's a huge amount, which is great. What these do, you'll unlock a favor for each type of ship. So what that means is, if you unlock the Interceptor, you can transfer between rarities of the Interceptor parts, or you can transfer from another type of ship part into Interceptor parts. And we have all of the conversions here. Now, I know Trash Keeper is going to say so trash. And I kind of wanted to point out a simple fact here. If we're just looking as G6 players, all we care about is rare parts. And I think probably for most generations, all you care about is rare parts. So let's just focus in and zero in on say, hey, I've got rare explorer parts out the wazoo, and I really need rare interceptor parts. So I'm going to take a look at my conversion, which is cost 25 of a different, so let's say explorer rare parts. And I'm going to get as a reward 26 interceptor parts. Did anyone catch that there's an actual bonus part you're going to get in there?
One part. Jules.
Tax refund, okay? All right.
One
There is
part.
no tax. You actually get a tax refund.
All right. There is no tax. Admittedly, that's fine. There's no tax. But yeah, man, listen.
Premium.
Yeah.
Premium.
Here's the deal.
But you're going to get 30 of these. You're going to get 30 of these a month.
And there's no
mention
cooldown.
the 33 more. So guess what? What is 33 times 26?
Oh, Lord.
That's roughly 850. 850 in there. Go ahead and take a look at a pack. How many rare parts are you going to get in a $100 ship part pack?
Well, let's take a look. Inside
858. Okay.
Oh, is it 858?
That's what you know. That's what you just calculated.
Okay.
So we're going to take a look inside your pay store.
All right. This is not a traditional, like, it won't be a special pack, but I'm looking at just a regular core pack, and it would indeed be 850 parts. So what you're saying, the correlation you're drawing is that every month it's giving you a $100 value.
Well, I would say $100 value because you're transferring between another part, right? But it could, if that is the thing that you're focusing on, if you're saying, I really want to build up this one ship and I don't care about the other ship types because I'm hyper focused on this, well, you're going to get a huge amount of value in being able to transfer the other ship parts. So I think the ship parts conversion, the model that they built is probably more conservative than we want, but more liberal than I think they were willing to do. And I know for a fact there is a member of our community who fought super hard, tooth and nail, to make this have 0 tax, 0 cooldown, and a daily drip. It was not that way when it was initially designed. I'm here to tell everybody here, it was definitely designed in a different way, more like our regular materials conversion, where it was a cooldown, there is a tax, there's a bunch of other problems with it. We all kind of pooped on it. Here, I'm telling you, we fought hard for this, and I think that this is a great compromise. It is going to give you value. It will take 21,000, so it is pretty expensive of the new material of the new currency. But if that is a place where you're at and you're ready to start converting, it is worth getting to that point to start building that daily drip, and then you can just batch out a bunch of these redeems for the thing that you want.
Nakar does ask the question in the chat, is there an uncommon to rare? And indeed there is. If you take a look, and again, still no tax and no cooldown, but you can put in the equivalent amount of uncommon to get the proper, basically 414, 26. These are some of the designated numbers. But yes, there is an uncommon to rare, again, with no cooldown and no tax. So,
and common. I mean, people have been talking about how commons are useless nowadays. Well, if you can start, upgrading those from common to uncommon to rare, wow, now you've got this massive surplus you have, even amongst the same ship part, you got this massive surplus. And now you can start upgrading that into the thing that you actually need, the bottleneck that you actually have, which is the rares.
Right. Long story short is what you're looking at here, unlocking a favor is going to give you a month's worth of tokens that can be used with no cooldown. And then every single day you're going to earn another token. So in the first day you unlock this, you're getting a month's worth of ship transfer parts that you can splurge on or space out as needed. But each other day, you're also earning 1 extra token on a 22-hour cooldown. This is going to generate for you potentially upwards of approximately 900 rare ship parts a month for the ship type of your choice. And while that would be great if it was more, it is still more than what we had. And I do also want to shout out our silent, unsung hero for putting in the time and effort in working with them to make this thing happen this way. So you do have those parts. And I will point out, this is something that we had talked about last month. When I leaked to you guys these favors for the ship part conversion and the increase in ship parts, they are definitely looking at a focus on ship parts. And I can even tell you over the next couple of months worth of content, there will continue to be a focus on ship parts. So I think that this is a good thing, a step in the right direction towards solving a huge economy problem, and we're going to see a lot of different avenues of ship parts. This is not the only thing you're going to see that is addressing the ship parts problem. This is step one.
Leaks.
I said nothing. I said they're going to keep going. There's more. There's
the last
more.
thing I wanted to point out. The last thing I want to point out was the rares indie directives. And this has been such, we pooped on this hard when it came out, because why gate this so hard? Why only do 2 rare starts a year? That's how it came out. Well, here's your fix. You can do a rare start every single day. Only, it is still going to cost you more credits than you can possibly gain every day. But this is sourcing for rares indie directives. And if we forget the rares indie armadas, what you actually get out of that, you get a ton of temporal disruptors. You get a ton of other artifact shards, temporal artifact shards. So there is some benefit to those rares indie bundles. And if you've been ignoring it up until now, it may be worth re-looking at those and seeing, hey, maybe there is some value in here that I haven't thought about in a while because I haven't been able to do them or haven't been sourced highly enough. So I know personally, I've been doing a lot more of these rares indies just because I want more of those disruptors. I want more of the other grade materials that we're getting in there. This is particularly helpful for upper G5 players too, who there was a bunch of rare parts and rare materials in there that you were getting as well.
Yeah, this is definitely
Kinda.
a good looking pack for G5. Go ahead, Tarpy.
Also kind of continuing with other places that might help. Just remember that Temporal Disruptors has a task in Alliance tournaments, and gaining Temporal Disruptors is part of that. Also, definitely don't look at your points when you do that task for opening a Rares Indie chest. But also remember that every week they expect us to do this Zindeep Armada thing on Wednesdays, and uncommon Indie Armadas have just never scored well, but the rare ones take 2 to finish that. So this is just maybe a nice way to let off on some of the FKR directives that might have been a challenge for finishing that event every Wednesday by maybe running a Indie Armada rare or 2
Well,
on
yeah,
Wednesdays.
when you look at the amount of credits that you can get, depending on what it is that you're hitting, right? And I've lost the other page here somehow. I don't know where it went. Anyway, here it is. When you look at the number of credits that you can get based on the payouts of these waves, this is why I come back and I say we've got to source some better directives on this thing, Jules, because the store has value. And I know that is probably one of the things that they're looking at is, well, we don't want to give too much and this and that. But I still kind of come back and say that these do have some value. They do provide and close the loop on some other things. For example, my hope was that this is going to be my new wave defense thing, right? I'm not going to do groups. I'm not going to do mirrors. Like, this is going to be my new thing. And if they would free up on directives a little bit, it will make it possible for me to do that. But not only that, Jules, as you point out, not going to lie, the rares indie directives did kind of catch my eye as well. Simply, and there's one big reason for that, okay? is that I did not buy the Prime for Temporal Disruptors. Now, if you have the Prime for Temporal Disruptors, you're still not done with Temporal Artifacts. You're not, okay? But if you did not have the Prime, you are nowhere even remotely close. You're 75% behind. That Prime increased your daily Temporal Disruptor income by 300%, okay? So the fact that these rare, I was eyeballing that one too, Jules, because of the Temporal Disruptors. And I love artifacts. Artifacts are one of my favorite mechanics in this game. So that is going to be very, very attractive to me as well. Definitely, definitely. Not even as much for the Alliance tournaments, but Tarpy's right. There are, listen, what if you could save up that Zindi loot and do a 3-chest pull? Because there is a task for not only opening the rare Zindi pull, Tarpy, but there's also a 10,000 point high value task for acquiring Temporal Disruptors.
That's the one I said.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about a different one, but nonetheless, that one pays really good. That's a 10,000 point task. That's a paid task. All right, so I like that. Magoo says artifacts are just research with extra steps. You know what? I will agree with you to a certain extent, but it's also those extra steps in lieu of latinum, materials, resources, and speed ups. All right. It's basically free research, kind of. Okay. So I like artifacts. And not to mention, most of the artifacts actually give sizable bonuses much better than a lot of the research we've got in the game. All right. So there's that. Lexel says, did you forget about the DTI Credum Time weapon and watch? No, I did not forget about those, but that's in a different store, isn't it?
It's in the DTI store. And
yeah,
it's
you're going to be wanting to get those out of the DTI
that
store.
Loophole is only locked to G6 players because you have to be Ops 60, or sorry, Artifact Gallery of level 60 prior to being able to get it to the point where you're getting the remnants, that remnant converter. So it's really only for G6, which, as we're talking about, Alliance tournaments is not hard for G6 players. We got the acquire materials. So this for G5 is great way of sourcing the Temporal Disruptors,
for sure.
As Tarpes pointed out. The thing is, I know that you're going to push hard, and you have been, and all of the content creators have been pushing hard for more cipher sourcing. But if you look in the Wave Defense Battle Pass and the seasonal passes, you can also see that we're seeing an increase in the ciphers. That we know how we normally would get the regular ciphers and the mirror ciphers, and everyone's got a stupid abundance of them because they've been doing the season pass. This one also has that. Now there's only 10 starts, so only 1,000 ciphers in both the free and the elite. So 300 in the free, 700 in the elite. I get that's still not going to get you a lot of extras, but I think that that's what their plan is they're going to keep the daily drip, or not daily, every 3-day drip small, and find other ways of injecting ciphers into other ways of engagement or something else. I don't know.
I think you're right. To be honest with you, I think you're 1,000% right. I want everyone to look at their mirror wave defense ciphers or your original Section 31 ciphers. Most players probably have thousands of those by now. I mean, most players are well over your caps, okay? And we still have thousands. So I have no doubt that was part of the decision-making process here with the Section 31 mirror ciphers. I also have no doubt that we are anxious to play these right now, but 90 days from now, we're all going to have thousands of these also, okay? It's the new shiny thing, and crazy enough, it's a mechanic that a lot of people really, really like. So people are anxious to play in it right now. When the next new shiny thing comes out, participation will wane off, directives will accumulate. It's no different than really anything else. My big thing is, to be perfectly honest with you, Jules, I would have been less fussy about the 3-day cooldown if they had started us out with a gift chest of 15. You know? And for the record, there's not anything saying that we might. Yeah, I was going to say that we're not still at the point where they might not do something like that. I know that they are contemplating, or we're having discussions. We had one today about another gift chest next Tuesday, like just doing a week 1, a week 2, and a week 3 gift chest. And honestly, if they did that and each one of them had 500 in it, I'm probably going to sit back and hush, to be perfectly honest with you. All right? Because then you look at the Wave Defense Battle Pass. Then you take a look at the regular Battle Pass. All right? And then you look at what you're going to be sourced out of the cooldown and the refinery. I mean, at that point, you are looking at about 30 to 40 starts over the course of a month. So I am going to be flexible with them on what this is going to look like after 1 month. All right? But I have always been an advocate for this is the new bright and shiny thing. Let us flipping play in it. You know what I'm saying? I would have not had a concern, not one, about the cooldown if a gift chest with 15 or 20 starts had come out on day 1. You know, Pong says, I would like to see the cooldown dropped to a day, and I don't disagree. I would like that as well, but I have a feeling I know why they did it the way they did it, and my big thing for the last several years has just been front load the beginning of the arc. This is the new feature. You want people engaged, so let's let people engage. That's kind of how I want it to look. But, you know, we'll see what they decide to do. I know that there's conversations happening. So, anywho, all in all, I am not dissatisfied. You know, I said this last month, Jules, now that we've seen everything, I wonder, and I'm curious about your opinion and that of the chat. Was my enthusiasm unfounded? I am not a fan of Apex Shred. I am not. But I also said that I was a big fan of the feature that was coming, which was solo wave defense. I am a big fan of the favors that came with relation to ship parts and sourcing for officers, sourcing for strike team, more Section 31 credits, artifacts, and chaos tech that had previously paid only. I like all of those things. I do. And the nice little, you know, probably not the one that I would have personally picked, but an addition of a ship loop into the independent archives. Also a great thing. So I don't look at this month. I feel like this month has come out almost like what I expected it to be, with 1 or 2 slight disappointments, Jules, but I still feel like this was an arc that has delivered so far.
I agree. I particularly like the store. I mean, I obviously like the mechanic itself. Defeating hostiles, defeating waves has always been my favorite part of this game. And I've liked the group waves. They've just been tough to coordinate, get started, and all that stuff. So now having the control to do it when I want, this is great. This is everything I was hoping for in a new iteration of waves. And the store is it's very valuable parts in there. There is no shortage. I'm not going to have an overage. I'm not going to be, holding back my progression through this event or this faction store. So I'm really happy about basically all of that. And there's a great balance between some of the PvP things that are in here, including the chaos tech and the officers, and some of the PvE stuff, including the artifacts and chaos tech. And so I like everything about what has been released for this main feature.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Cruzito says in the Twitch chat, let's just give everything to everybody all the time. Listen, that is a mentality that I don't share, Cruzito. But when you have time gates, which is natively what what a refinery is, it is a natural gate of progression that Scopely controls. So when it comes to gameplay, why is there a directive at all? Let me play my ass off. If I want to spend 15 hours in your video game, let me spend 15 hours in your video game. Guess what? I'm not unlocking anything any faster because the refinery itself is the time gate. They can control my rate of acquisition. What's that, Tarpy?
Can I, like, when you're done with this kind of phrase, can I add something on the end?
Well, sure. Yeah, go right ahead.
Cool. So, I actually brought this up in the chat earlier today because we mentioned how the field repairs for the G6 rares are now out. The time gate for those field repairs is the refinery because you can get 2 pieces a day and you need 120. So, a lot of people are finding that they are no longer using those ships with once they get the field repair because they have gotten to the next shipyard and the next faction ship. And how those are gated to show up is not by faction rep for the ships, they're gated by the shipyard for the ships. So it would be fantastic if Scopely could look at that and change when you can buy the field repairs for a particular faction ship to maybe an ops or 2 beforehand.
You know, I don't disagree with
Because
that at all. And honestly, funny fact, that reason is exactly why I don't have any of them. Jules.
Exactly.
Yeah, Jules was mentioning earlier that would be a really good strategic advantage in the solo wave defenses if you've got a field repair. That is a particular piece of the mechanic that I've never really adopted because I wasn't willing to spend cash on it. And by the time it's grindable, I have kind of moved on to another ship. So, I'm kind of with you on that. It actually has dissuaded my engagement with that particular feature because of
and I
the time
love
delay.
the one that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the one that I have. And I'm like, well, I guess that's loot I don't need to spend on things.
Yeah.
But it would be really useful for a lot of the people who are like me currently able to kill 1 of the hard hostiles in the G6 waves with my G5 epics. Maybe I could eke out a second one. Like that could get me another wave finish with a field repair. And I'm about to build a different ship class in a couple weeks. It's not going to matter.
I'm not going to counter your point because I agree with it, but I will add on that I have 3 ships that I need to use. My 3rd ship is my G5 Epic that has a field repair I got through the drip.
Yeah.
So it still has use to me, even in this mechanic, it still has use to me. But another thing to tack on to that is if we were going to change, like whether that is changed when the requirement is for when it pops up in the faction store, or as another alternative is adding a 3, 4, 5 chest option at a higher tax rate, is that something that is going to be receptive by players?
Funny that you mentioned that, Jules, because for me, the answer is yes. All right, and I'll tell you why. I haven't started on this. Okay, I have not started on Enterprise D field repairs. Even if I started right now, at the max redemption, I'm 60 days and 120,000 Mirror Universe credits. 120,000. All right, that's not correct. Yeah, it is. It is 120,000, isn't it, Jules? 2,100 times 60.
That's 126,000 for the G5 epics. Yep.
120,000 Mirror Universe wave credits. All right. I just can't see. I just can't see spending that on that. That is still not the value for me. You know what I'm saying?
And you can see I've got a calculation in here in the spreadsheet under field repair refit that shows you how much it's going to cost for the G6 rares, which is, I presume, your next ship.
It would be my next ship.
So that's going to cost you, what, 69,600 if you want to go.
That's insane. Fast? Why is it cheaper?
And
by the way, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
Access keys
they
versus.
Still.
Oh, well, yeah.
But here's the thing. The G4 and the G5 rares in there.
The access keys.
They still do not have those.
Access keys are going to be easier to get than the mirror ones were. I mean, they really are. You're going to get more quantity than the mirror keys. Or the mirror credits. So,
and the mirror ones aren't going away. You can still do those.
That's correct. It's a lot of waves. It's a lot of waves. So, maybe I probably will take a look at the G6 rare one. But going back to answer your question, Jules, I think that there would potentially be some possible interest. There probably would have been for me. There probably would have been for me if there was an option to dump more, I guess. So I don't know.
But in the same way that you're saying, let you engage with the thing, if I want to do a boatload of mirror waves so that I can buy a field repair faster, let me do that too.
Yeah.
Like, so that I can get more time with the field repair while I actually have that ship.
I know. And Cruzito said, I mean, you're exactly right. This is the problem. If I call it a problem, let me rephrase. It's a sacrifice.
It's a good problem.
Yeah. It depends on your perspective. This is my chosen sacrifice at using ships that are not for my generation, Cruzito. I am an Ops 65, still using my G5 epics. That was because I didn't want to build a G6 uncommon, and you guys made me, but I still haven't spent a bunch of money on it. I haven't spent a bunch of resources on it. I'm pretty sure it's still tier 4 or tier 5, whatever it was whenever we did that whole crazy thing that day. So tier 4, and I'm not going to invest anything else into it. So I'm not... It was still my choice. It was my plan. I'm still sticking with that plan. And this is one of my sacrifices. That being said, it was a sacrifice that I willingly made, but it reduces the value of field repairs for me. You see what I'm saying?
Also,
which is why I've never invested in
this. So looking forward, as people go through generations faster and faster. So I went through G5 in 8 months. Strider went through G5 in 6 months. And if you think that that's 3 ship classes that he went through in 6 months, that is not enough time to unlock all of the field repairs.
Yes.
For each of those ships. If the field repairs even existed for one of those sets of ships. Because they said it was going to come out last July and that it wasn't ready yet.
Yes.
And
preach it.
They're still not there. So
preach it.
Yeah.
Lexel agrees.
Field repairs for y'all with the pylum.
Yeah, field repairs are mostly not needed by the time you can unlock them. And I agree with that sentiment. So, Wolfwood, would you settle down in chat? All right, I agree with that perspective, which is why I've never unlocked one. All right? And besides,
and
everybody,
it's just going to get worse.
Well, yeah, because of all the different things you can spend your credits on and the timing and so forth. So the point that I'm making here is that there is different play styles. And that's one thing that I'm going to praise about the way that this game has presented itself in its later generation is that no 2 accounts are the same anymore. What is good for Wolfwood may not be good for Tarpy, and what's good for Tarpy may not be good for Lexel, and what's good for Lexel may not be good for Cruzito. All right? And what's working for me isn't going to work for everybody else. That's why I kind of like where these discussions are coming back about potential strategies. I saw this in the chat earlier, Jules. Somebody said that why is it so complicated? It's not really that complicated. There's just a lot of potential opportunities depending on the status of your own account. Your own progression that you have accomplished up to this point may result in you having better success with Matters' crew as compared to Blue's crews, as compared to Jules' crews or my own. It depends on your progression. Don't forget, I just unlocked Gwen DeMarco literally days ago. You guys have been using her for months. Right?
Yeah. I will say there is still a reason for field repairs, particularly on your G5 epic ships and particularly for early G6 content, because hazard damage is kind of a pain in the butt when you're trying to do armadas, the G6 solar armadas, and being able to use the field repair. I remember I was hitting 3 or 4 or 5 of the uncommons, uncommon armadas, and I would hit a field repair twice in my run just so I can get through 5 of them on one hole. So
new grinding.
Yeah, but that wasn't worth $100 pack to purchase those. That was worth the slow grind to get that field repair unlocked. So For me, I see value in it. I don't know if I see purchase value in the field repairs, but they certainly are useful.
Oh, I don't disagree that they would be useful if I could stomach the amount of time it's going to take. Because honestly, here's the thing. Let's say that I did, and we're talking about sacrifice and decisions, right? I almost have to live with my decision to skip field repairs now for the G3 epics, all right? Because if I started now, it's 60 days to get it for my G3 epic or my G5 epic. But
minimum.
But I will have a G6 rare before 60 days is up. Like 66 is already in the oven. I popped it during one of the spend events last month. So, and I've been letting it slow burn, Jules. This month, I've got like 4 days and 15 hours left on Op 66. I'm there. I'm ready to build that ship. All right. It's not going to take me
this weekend.
I might build it this weekend. I haven't looked at Spock's Club to see if I've got enough rare material yet. But I will also point out that I have saved all of my conversion tokens. I have all of them. All right. Mariachi says, don't forget about the shuttle bay. I know. I've got to do that too. But I have all of my conversion tokens. So I believe, I'll have to check Spock's Club, but I believe that I will be able to build a G6 rare as early as this weekend. Not sure. But I'm going to double check
This is actually a good transition. Did you want to talk about officers today, or you want to wait for a different podcast?
You know, I would like to briefly touch on it because I'll tell you what, and people have asked, we didn't do an ArcFall video, and so I apologize. The long and short of it is, the Epic Officer this month is back to the Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 Heroic, meaning that it's a month-long event, okay? Starting this weekend, you're going to get Tier 1 event on Section 31 Giorgio. And when you finish that, it'll have 50 shards in it. Then when you finish that one, you'll start another one that has 100 shards. When you finish that one, you'll start another one that has 200 shards. They're going to be expensive, but you can get out of this whatever it is that you're willing to put into it. Now, a couple of things to note about these officers, all right? As you're talking about whether or not they're worth it, and I'm going to let Jules make that determination here in just a moment, I do want to call out the synergy groups. I have received dozens of messages, Jules, as to whether or not these synergy groups were correct. For example, Section 31 Giorgio belongs to Strange New Worlds. Very interesting. While Rachel Garrett belongs to the Enterprise E crew. Okay? And Zeff belongs to the Section 31 crew. These are intentional and an indication of how some of these officers were designed to be used with existing crew. Rachel Garrett is going to be amazing for loot gain with Enterprise E Picard and Data, says Darkfire.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
And that is kind of the point.
Absolutely.
Isn't in the movie, they were a band of misfits that came together and haphazardly did a mission.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're still the same band of misfits after that movie. And here they are, being the band of misfits that they are, trying to be, Garrett's trying to be on the Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
How perfect is that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, she's an Enterprise captain, let's not forget. All right? She is an Enterprise captain in canon. So the fact that she is part of the Enterprise crew, I think was a great canonical move by Scopely here.
First female captain.
Probably accidental, throwing it out there. But if it wasn't, it was a brilliant move, storyline-wise. All right? And, yeah, she's got loot gain, and you bundle that up with the synergy of Ent E Picard and the synergy of Data contributing to Picard's loot gain. Oh, it's stupid. All right? Giorgio. All right? Combining with Strange New Worlds. Increasing Apex Shred. You know, we were talking earlier. Somebody said that they were giving Rev a little bit down the road with his Strange New World crew. I don't know. I think he's got something here, especially if you incorporate Giorgio with Pike by the way, canonical genius again. All right. Pike with Spike and Giorgio, potentially, or Una and Giorgio. They all served on the same ship at one time, a long time ago. Anyway, so Apex Shred would be a very, very nice thing to add to the capabilities of Strange New Worlds. All right. Lexel says, read between the lines. Read between the lines, DJ. More non-wave hostiles with stupidly high apex barrier incoming. You said it, not me. Go ahead, Tarby.
Well, that comment also implies, so looking at their below deck capabilities, there's battleships and interceptors this month. So I'm not NDA'd. I know nothing. But there seems to be a ship class missing. Somewhere.
Fascinating.
Fascinating.
They never finish the triangle, do they?
You know what? I have a PhD. I'm smart. I can logic things sometimes. But the other thing I was going to say that I'm impressed with for this month is technically you can unlock both of the rare officers for not a lot of money.
Why don't you explain that on the rares, and then I'm going to bring it back to Jules for the epic before we get ready to go.
Okay, so there's the kill switch meta that gets you, what is the number of shards for Abigail Hobbs, aka Rachel Garrett? Anyone else a Hannibal fan?
So you've got 20 shards there.
Yep. So then in the battle pass, you can get some shards for the $20 battle pass that gets you, if I remember, an unlock of her. Is that
you've got 12?
What I'm looking at here.
Let's see, 12, 14, 16, 18. You've got 18 in the battle pass plus 20. That's 38. And that is exactly right.
That's an unlock.
Yep, that's an unlock. So
for
now
$20.
It is 20, Peter. Yeah, so it is more than zero. So it's $20 unlock, and perfect participation gets you the unlock of Garrett.
No, not perfect participation. If I counted correctly, which is always questionable, there are 20 events that feed towards the kill switch meta, and there are 18 total that you need to finish it.
Well, that would be consistent. They've given us a little bit of flexibility in months past. So you've got to do 18 out of 20 of them. Okay, that's great. That's fantastic.
So that would be not player choice. However, is to me the one that I wanted more just because of the loot gain. But that is a rare officer in the month that they are offered for $20. So that is significantly better than most of last year.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, as a matter of fact, that would make this year, that would make them 3 for 3 on rare officer unlocks for $20 or less.
So then Zeff. He's not $20 or less, but so if you look in the store right now, this is also the first month that I can remember that they're actually selling the rare officers the first week. If I remember correctly, the rare officers are usually starting being sold the second week. But they're both in the store right now. You can get the normal first tier for $50, the second tier for $100. Both first and second tier. But if you buy the Wave Defense $20 pass, that gets you some number of Zeff shards. And so that is 1, 2, 3.
I see
4,
20
5, 6
in the bonus cache.
Okay.
Is that what you're looking at?
Okay, so no, I'm looking at the regular Wave Defense. So there are no Zeff shards in the regular Battle Pass or the paid track.
Okay. Yep.
But in the Wave Defense Pass that they technically also released a week earlier than they normally do, because, Wave Month, that is...
Oh, it's 18.
You stopped me counting in the middle
It's
of
18.
Okay, so 18 in there. So that's $20 for a regular Wave battle pass. No, that one's 10, right? Isn't the wave pass?
No, it is
10?
20.
No,
It is 20.
I'm getting confused with last week's flash pass. But okay, so this is an interesting thing because I haven't seen this type of paid content before. Once you buy, and there was some confusion about this in the chat the other day. Once you buy the bottom row of the wave battle pass, so whether you buy the $20 version or the $100 version, it works the same way. In the instructions, it says elite, and it's the bottom row no matter which way you buy it, even though the $100 pack is the one that's labeled elite. I bought the $20 version and it gave me the option for the cash. So, and when I say cash, I'm not talking cash money, I'm talking CACHE, which is if you look in your event store and everyone can see it in their event store, even if you don't buy the original battle pass or the cash, what they have in that cash is the ability to unlock Zeff by the end of the battle pass.
So, and you're exactly
so-
right, because there's another 20 shards here. You've got 18 in the wave defense. So what you're looking at here, Webb summarizes this for us in chat. $20 for the wave defense pass, where you have 18 shards. $30 for the wave defense cash, which has 20 shards, which makes 38 for the total cost of 50. Now, that is not a great deal.
What?
Because you can just go buy 50 shards for $50, or the 38 shards for $50.
You could.
You could. What's the difference,
what else
Tarpy?
do you get? Yeah, so in the cash, so you get the wave battle pass for one thing. So you get all of the other stuff that's in there, which is a bunch of regular mirror starts. You get the new wave credits. You get the new wave starts. You get some.
That's a big one right
You
there.
get
That's
James
impressively
Kirk.
large.
I believe
You get some Syndicate XP.
I believe we were told
Yeah.
when we were counting earlier, wasn't there 10 starts in the wave defense battle pass? There's an extra 4 in the wave defense cash. So it'll give you 14 there. Plus another 10, one every 3 days throughout the month. There would put you at 24 starts and the Zeff unlock and roughly 100,000 Syndicate XP, all for the same $50. So when you come out and you say, well, DJ, I could just buy Zeff for $50. Yes, indeed, you could. I could come in here and buy Zeff for $50 and then get 2,200 Ultra tokens and 800,000 Officer XP. Or I can play it out through the entire month, still get the Zeff unlock, and end up with 14 extra solo wave defense starts, plus the Syndicate XP and all the other stuff that's in the wave defense battle pass. So Divine says, so if you really wanted to whale it up, $70 gets you both unlocks this month of the rares. And yeah, $70 is a lot, but there's a lot else to it, including the battle passes and the wave defense and the extra battle pass and all that stuff.
$70 extra. It's if you were a battle pass player anyway.
Yeah.
You get Rachel Garrett for the $20 of the regular battle pass.
Yes.
You get most of an unlock of Zeff for a regular wave defense purchase. Like if it's not $100 on top of that.
That's right. That's right. And you take a look at those two rares, which do have great abilities. And this is where I'm going to hand it over to Jules real quick as we get ready to wrap up because time is getting late. We're going to look at the abilities of the rares very quickly as you determine whether or not it's worth it for your engagement in those passes this month. And then we'll wrap up with Section 31 Giorgio. Jules, are the rares any good?
Zeff is trash.
Oh! Is he really?
Yes. Why? Because if you take a look at his officer ability, apply a random state.
A random
it does go
state.
to 100%. It goes up to 100%. You say, great. He is a great tool to use as, maybe if you're using with Carol Freeman on the side instead of using Lorca. Maybe when he's maxed, he'll be a better version of Lorca just because he can actually have 100%. But that doesn't include Hull Breach, which doesn't really add to your crit build, so kind of trash. His synergy group is Section 31. Who else is in Section 31? Pop quiz, anybody?
Section 31.
Marcus,
Yuki?
Harrison, Yuki. Who uses those? Who uses
And
those
Zhao.
ones? And Zhao. Who uses those anymore? This is for the mech life. This is for his officer ability.
Okay.
Oh, right. And it's only against hostiles. Only against hostiles. So not mission bosses. So trash.
That's rude.
Trash ability. Below deck ability. Increases apex barrier against only interceptors. And even at max, it's 3,000. That sounds like a lot. But we've got like Anorex's datapad who's doing that against all hostiles, not interceptor hostiles. He's trash.
Yikes. So Tarpey was just getting ready to sell a bunch of packs, and then Jules came in and said, never mind. Don't do it.
Yeah, right.
All right, let's talk about
Scopely. This is the funny. No, this is the funny thing. Hold on. This is where Scopely, they come up with a great idea. Do you remember the first time, was it for Soren, that we had the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 heroics, and we were like, God, the officer's just terrible, but it's a great mechanic, but the officer's just garbage, right? Here we come out this month with great mechanics, great monetization. This is good monetization. It honestly is. The design is good. But you have an officer in here that Jules says does absolutely nothing.
See, Berlin Wall's got it completely right. They messed up which officer should go where because Rachel Garrett is awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go take a look at her.
All right. Rachel Garrett actually belonged in the wave defense pass to make you spend that extra little bit of money. But
I don't think
Rachel Garrett's
that trashy, but
officer.
I'll keep that to myself.
Okay. Rachel Garrett's officer ability is Luke Gain. At max is 200%, which, by the way, synergizes with NT Picard. She's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
She's awesome.
She's stupid good. She's
stupid good.
Stupid good. And you'll never use her below deck. She'll always be on the bridge.
Absolutely not. But I don't know about you. I tend to run loot crews whenever I kill hostiles nowadays.
Yeah.
There's not a single hostile in the game that is difficult for me.
Yeah.
So I use loot crews on everything. And I am so pumped to unlock Rachel Garrett.
Oh, yeah. She's going to be great.
For only $20.
For $20. There you go. Don't even need to spend 70.
Right.
Look at that scope.
Okay,
you got it backwards. Berlin. That's so funny.
The last one, Section 31, Giorgio.
Is she going to be
the
worth
officer
spending gobs of materials this weekend?
Officer ability, Apex Shred. I think that she's a highly valuable officer to put on your ships for this particular solo wave. And as maybe what was hinted by players in this community, not by us DJs, but by other people, they said there may be more high Apex barrier hostiles that come out in the future. I don't think that's wrong to think that way. So she could be an investment in the future. Just like in the Section 31, they said, great, this person is going to be a great investment for us for the future. Okay, DJs, you can talk about her below deck ability.
God bless it. The below deck ability just freaking undoes 2 years worth of the game, and the balancing and the PvP fixing and the fact that we got battles back up to 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds, just going to undo all that shit and go right on back to when Carol Freeman came out and you had Sally's taking down the Daradexes. Welcome back, everybody. It's nice to come full circle. All right. Nice to come full circle. The below deck ability is 100%. Hold on, am I reading this right? No, increase, up to 100%. Increase Apex Shred against players by 25% on the unlock, 100% at rank 5, which obviously is going to take an investment to get there, but people will spend on this officer if for no other reason than to singularly wipe out any player's gains in barrier. In
50% at max.
Huh?
Right? 50% at 100%?
Oh, yeah, sure. There's a prime too, buddy. All right. They're selling more of it. And there's an artifact that's got it too. So here's the deal. All right. I've said everything there is to say. I'm not going to go on about it. I am not a fan of this mechanic. All right. I think it undoes a lot of great work in bringing some semblance of PvP, real battles back into the game. This undoes it all. But she will also be wildly valuable to those who spend and to those who must remain on top of the PvP Imperium. If you are a player that must be the best and must spend on all the PvP tools so that you can keep your superiority on your server, then she will be an officer that you will spend money on, and you'll like it. The auctions on the weekends are going to be insane. The fact that there are Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 Heroic Solo milestones, we will see record numbers of players finishing the Tier 3 Heroic Solo milestone. She is the new / as impactful as Carol Freeman. And there you have it.
And to answer the question in the chat, Mago points out some math, 25% Apex barrier. She is a 1.56 net damage increase, so basically 50% net damage increase. Not as bad as DJz thinks. That's not necessarily the point, though. The point is that this is an introduction of a mechanic, and it's only going to be added to. There's already a prime. There's already this officer. Remember when Isolatic first came out? And we were ogling over 5% isolated damage.
How much money did you guys spend on it? How much money did we spend on Borg Queen's Remains? Okay.
A few bucks.
I spent money. I spent hundreds of dollars on Borg's Queen's Remains. Okay. And now there's thousands.
Out of context. Out of context, that is extra creepy.
By the way, Magoo is pointing out that versus 25,000 Apex barrier, she is a net damage increase of 156%. Or what are you saying? Net damage increase of 56 or 156? Dude, that ain't small. That's not small, dude. That's gargantuan. So a 56% increase. We're going to multiply the damage by 1.56. That's a 56% net increase. That's insane. That is 25 times higher than what Isolatic was in the month it launched.
It's another
Don't worry, they're going to come out with Apex Barrier 4.
With the current hull breach you're getting.
I mean,
it's an insane amount of damage.
It's insane amount of damage. When Isolatic came out, everybody was running with 1% and 2% and 3%, and we still saw huge numbers, and it still broke combat. And now you're talking about a 56% net damage increase? Dude, this is Carol Freeman all over again, except 20 times worse. I mean,
some people are saying it's not going to get rid of the gains we've got, right? That's as chat that we're getting already. And I will say that in the playtest, I went against an equally powered ship, and we went 9 rounds. That's pretty good. I mean, I feel like that's back where we had some Kujitsu options. This is just a Carol Freeman crew versus a Carol Freeman crew, right? Back in the day, Carol Freeman crews, that was whoever shot first won this. Now, we had a recent battle where it went 9 rounds. Then I added Section 31 Giorgio below deck. It went 4 rounds. It is a big difference. it is going backwards. We're going to have shorter battles the more shred that's being added, because it was Apex Barrier that was starting to increase that.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So,
can I make an argument for Zeff if we're done? If we're moving along from
sure.
officers?
Yeah. Tell me why it's not trash.
It's as always, my argument is that there's a niche case scenario. So now that we've got something like these wave defenses where you have to send 3 ships, it's difficult, or it can be a challenge to get all the states applied that you want to get states applied for all 3 of your ships. And when he's max, he does have that 100% chance. And yes, it's a random state, but hull breach is the one everybody wants, but even burning now, because of the star path research, burning can give you up to 20% more isolytic damage and up to 900% base damage by applying it. So it's not terrible if he ends up proccing burning, and the fact that he has 100% to trigger, and each state that he triggers lasts 3 rounds, you're going to see most of the rounds that you're fighting having both hull breach and burning, or at least most of them having hull breach.
You also have a 33% chance at giving your enemy morale, which is going to actually have a negative impact on you. This is going back to like the days of
morale without any research.
Who says they don't have research? They've got the same start research you do. They've got artifacts.
This is PvE only. No, he only works against hostiles. They've got no research. They've got nothing. They get that 0.001%.
Was Zeff hostile only?
Yeah.
It's even worse.
I see your edge case.
Even worse.
I get it.
Even worse.
I would not.
Spot, you can potentially be triggering both burning and hull breach the majority of the time, which can be good. I see no reason to use.
Would you? You're gonna spend $50 on that
as a standalone officer. It's not horrible.
You gonna spend $50 on it?
Probably. Yeah.
And use it.
Didn't you hear? He only needs to spend 30.
I won't use it at tier 1. No, but I'll spend the $50 just to get the unlock right away and all the other stuff that comes to that $50.
Okay.
It's good value. Even if you removed all the Zeff shards from both the battle pass and the cache, it's still a good value for $50.
I do agree with that.
I do. It's 20 epic shards. It's a bunch of these starts. It's a bunch of credits for the store.
So Cruzito, it doesn't just specify enemy. It does say on round start against hostiles. Zeff has a chance to apply random state to the enemy for 3 rounds, but the first line is on the start against hostiles. All right, there you go. So you make your own determination on what's going to happen this coming weekend. Let me say a couple of thank yous very quickly. We had Twab with the 21-month resub. Thank you very much. The Web came in with the 16-month Prime resub. Thank you. Master Viper with the 26-month Tier 1 resub. Fisty, happy 2-year anniversary. I know. Goodness gracious. 24 months at Tier 1. Glimar, 12 months at Tier 1. Jedi Grayson, thank you for the sub over on YouTube. Appreciate that very much. And Murphy with the 28-month Tier 1 resub. You guys are all heroes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. All right. There you go. That is crewing. That is mechanics and rewards of Section 31. I was kind of hoping, Jules, that we were going to be able to make this into a quick and dirty. I don't see how that's going to be possible. But it was a great listen. And ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for the mad scientist himself, ladies and gentlemen, Jules Vern, for putting everything together. Thank you.
There's a chunk in there. It may be long and dirty.
Yeah, it's not good. Tarpy, settle down. Settle down.
Take a shower. Take a shower.
Divine's got it. Just watch it at 3 times speed.
Yeah, there you go. Then it'll be quick. Yeah, it'll be quick if you do that way. All right. Questions out of the chat. We'll give you here about 5 minutes for questions out of the chat, either for myself or Griffin. Or Jules, sorry. JC has the question. Jules, do you still like Soren's tritanium thing? That was in the Trilithium, yeah.
I haven't tested it recently. The initial thing was there was a bug where it adds a net % of shield health in PvP battles, which means when it's maxed, you can get 800% more net shield. So it was huge initially, but that's still just affecting your shield health. And there's lots of the KS tech that is out now, that has been out and will continue to come out, that will affect PvP battles. And so that may not be the primary one, but just okay, so Burton is confirming it's still working on net. So if you're depending on your shield health in PvP battles, this is a massively effective one and something that isn't quite stated properly in the tooltip.
Yep, there you go. DJs, did you get raided while you were on your trip? No, I did not. I threw long shields. I actually had members of my alliance on the ship with me to make sure I stayed shielded. Shout out Dirty Bird Bill. Because we also had incursions while we were on the ship. So yeah, I had a lot of people looking out for me. Yeah, there was that. Let's see. More Dead says, what was the bug for Apex Shred and what would it have been, or has it been fixed? Jules,
I don't know if it's been fixed. Do you remember what they said?
Oh, yeah. If you guys were doing math on it, then it's fixed. Were you guys doing math on it? Is the math holding?
No one. Unless someone bought. I don't think you can even buy I don't think anyone's got Apex Shred right now.
Oh, we don't know that.
Oh, for the favors. Yeah.
You can buy the hostile one today.
Pretty sure it's fixed.
Today.
Hey, Magoo, did you have you been able to verify the accuracy of the favors? Like, is the math holding up? Because I'm pretty sure they did patch that.
But they haven't fixed domination style events.
No.
I'll just say that
hilarious.
the issue was the math that you see on that on either ability of Section 31 George Joe that basically says 100% Apex Shred cuts your Apex barrier in half. That actually wasn't holding in PvP battles that we were testing.
Yeah, it was much lower.
It was more like it was cutting it by 36% or something smaller than directly in half. So I don't know if that's been fixed. I don't have an answer on that. I think that we as content creators were pushing for there to be less of an effect in PvP.
Yeah.
But they did not change the ability. They did not change any values of the officer or the prime. So I do not think that it's not looking the way that us content creators were proposing.
Yeah. Yeah, we wanted it to be less effective. Instead, it's still game breaking. Thank you, Lauren, for your tier 1 resub. Burton says, we did the math on it in PvE. It's holding up. PvP has not been tested. We do have the EXO, so we could do that. Burton, that would be a great test if you wanted to jump in there and take a look at it, because it was in PvP that we were seeing some issues. But I got to be honest with you, I bet they fixed it, because we found it, and that was pretty serious for them. So.
In order to test it, your exocomp was automatically activated by claiming that chest. So you'd actually need to clear that slot and then run the same exact battle again and look at the same weapon and stuff like that to test that thoroughly. So
it was a tricky
if
test.
If willing to do that,
yeah,
great.
We had to run it several times during the play test to actually get good data. So there is that. But yeah, have I been rated after my trip? Says Mimi. I don't think yes, but not for very much. He only scooped me like 2 or 3 scoops. But yes, he did get me yesterday. Got me yesterday for a couple scoops. Has my favorite raider gone into withdrawal without raiding me? I don't know. You'll have to ask him. He's in the chat. let's see. What was the best bar to hang out? What, on the ship in Miami? I have no idea. I have no idea.
Um,
I didn't
the
drink.
best bar.
I didn't drink.
Well,
Probably.
the best bar
Batleth and blood
was
wine.
the one with the the schooner bar, whatever that one was.
Captain Gorn's bar.
It had a toasted marshmallow old fashioned.
Ew, that was terrible. I didn't like it.
You were you weirdo. You were the only one who didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Yeah, there's a whole list of things that are wrong with you.
Oh, good stuff. All right. Any other questions? We'll get ready to wrap up. Again, Jules, thank you so much for the time spent. Obviously, a tremendous amount of work and research put into this thing, and there for you guys to experience and learn from and play with throughout the month with your many, many, many solo directives for you to play solo waves, because I mean, just can't get enough. Yeah, I probably wouldn't like marshmallows in my bourbon either. Yeah, I didn't like it, Fisty. I didn't like it. Dastro says, what about the jacket and the PAX giveaways? I'm not ready to do either of those yet, but we will be doing them. We do have a jacket to give away, and we've got $500 in PAX to give away. That will be coming up here in the next week or so, but I've still got a lot of work to do. Still got a lot of work to do. I got to figure out what's going on with Dino for the jacket giveaway, and then we'll do I've got to do all the, points and all that stuff for the $500 giveaway. Hey, I have not seen my children in like 3 or 4 weeks. They're coming home this weekend, so I will most likely not do a Studio B Saturday night because they're going to be home, and so we're probably going to do something fun. Because I haven't seen him in like a month.
Dance party in your studio doesn't sound fun with all three of you. That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah.
Jumping around.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to do that. I know we're behind.
You can be like, what is this? What is this?
I know we're behind. But I probably will not do that Saturday night. But I'll definitely do some this month, obviously, and I'll try to find you a makeup as well. I will. I'll get you your Patreon subscription worth over there, but I will not be doing one this Saturday. I gotta break back into it. I gotta ease back into it. This week was easing back into content, and then I thought, well, okay, I could stream Friday, and then if I did a Studio B Saturday, and then I do a pod on Sunday, like I don't want to do 4 days in a row. I gotta listen, you guys. I made content for like 100 hours last week, so I need a little bit of a break. I know. It's teeny, tiny little bit.
Was there ever a finishing count for the event store loot last month?
That would be a Jules question. It was pretty high.
Yeah, that's on the spreadsheet. I can find it for you.
It was pretty stupidly good by the time, because they even ramped up more at the end. Then they extended the daily drip even longer. Gosh, I think I ended up with good God.
Yeah, so free to play topped 400,000, which wasn't seen since December of 2023.
Yeah, that's huge.
So it's been a full year. So it topped everything in 2024. So it was a great month, I think, for a lot of players.
Ended up being really good.
Still a disparity between the 39 and down and the 40 plus, which we are already talking to the overlords about the next event store coming and making sure that same disparity doesn't exist again.
Yep. About that. I have to go back and I think I have something embarrassing to admit. I don't remember.
Great.
Oh no. What now?
Did you not spend your event store loot?
I don't know if I spent my event store loot. What?
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know if I...
Neutrinos?
I don't know if I spent them. Are they in inventory? Are they in inventory?
Well, yeah, if you didn't spend them, they'd be in inventory.
Don't look. Just live in Schrodinger's
No,
existence.
I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look. I don't remember if I did or not.
The cat's gonna be dead, guys. The cat's gonna be dead.
Where are they? Somebody tell me where they are. I'm hoping I did.
In
Surely
your
I did.
inventory.
Where are they? Other resources? Materials. I can't remember.
Probably. They're usually in other.
Well, I'm in other. I don't see it here at the bottom, so maybe I did spend it. Okay.
Oh, no. They're a couple rows up.
Oh, crap.
Don't tell him that.
They're above the board cube bits. Oh, I'm telling him because I want to know.
Okay.
They're above the board cube parts that you get for tearing it up. And right before your galactic claim.
Oh, God, there they are. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm not looking at Twitch. What am I looking at? I'm not looking at Twitch.
Just Pocket's favorite number.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I didn't spend them.
You're a bad kitty cat.
Oh my God!
That's the entire.
That's a big one right there. That's impressively large.
The entire.
Oh God!
I think I fool-bought this.
That's an understatement, Omicron.
I think I fool-bought this.
Oh, and TJ says, that's why you're the number 6 STFC content creator. Thank you.
That's a big one right there. That's impressively large.
Oh my
But you
God.
even extended it by like 3 days.
I know. Holy God.
Yes, listen to me swear.
Is that worse than Griffin not clicking his commander buttons?
This is worse.
Slider,
This is worse. This is definitely worse.
You're the best.
Scumley!
Give me hugs and kisses.
Scumley, fix it!
Can we just get one?
So excited.
I think I fool-bought this.
Just one more.
Oh God.
I am so excited to watch this as you see that over and over again.
I think I fool-bought
every
this.
time you go into your event store.
Oh no! Scumley! Fix it!
Maybe next year they'll reuse
That's
the
a
loot.
big one right there. That's impressively large.
Okay. All right. Hang on.
They'll use neutrinos again, and they'll be like, "Oh wow, where did I get this loot from?
All right.
Awesome!"
Just in case, I would be able to make the pitch that I was working my ass off. Not
I am
just
so
for
positive.
me, but
I'm
for
full
Star
of
Trek.
positive energy.
But for Star Trek Fleet Command too. Okay. All right. It wasn't like I was just there all for me. If I was able to make the case that I deserve,
I can't believe you couldn't last
Jesus.
2 more minutes.
What would I get? What am I asking for, Jules? Just make it easy. What am I asking for?
Nothing. You have
2
to sit
more
in the
minutes.
shade.
No. If I
Can you spend it all in 2 minutes?
A tier 2 on your NFC.
beryllium spheres. All right. So how much were
You
the
couldn't
beryllium?
spend it all in 2 minutes.
I couldn't spend it in 2 minutes. No.
You are wrong. Just sit down and be wrong. You are wrong.
All right. I don't know if I want beryllium spheres. Do I? Do I actually want? Yeah, I probably do. All right. So it was 29,000. How much was it? It was 29,500 beryllium spheres for 7,500 event store currency, right? It was 40,000
actual
spheres.
spheres depended on your tier of your ship.
So 40,000.
You don't want the dolomite particles?
No, I don't think I need dolomite.
I'd agree with the spheres.
40,000 spheres times 56 exchanges. 2.2 million. You think they're going to give me 2.2 million spheres? They're probably not going to give me 2.2 million. No, there's not a chance. There's not a chance in hell.
There's not a chance. They may remove it from your inventory just to make you happy.
Scummy! Oh God, why?
I'm telling Ika right now to deny any request he gets from you.
No, God.
A box
right,
moment. Yeah, like, what's in the box?
I can't believe that shit. That's terrible.
That's the worst.
I'm so stupid. Oh, God.
Can we get a meme of what's in the box, and then in the box is 420K event store loot?
Oh God.
Well, yeah. Now that the treasury banner is not broken, so you got to fill it with something else.
Gee, many Christmas.
That's funny, DJs. That's funny.
When you started talking about it, I was like, "Oh God." I had a panic moment. I was like, "Oh my God!" I remember specifically spending my choice tokens. I definitely remember spending the choice tokens because we were still on the ship.
You had a few days after the choice tokens to do the event store, I believe.
Yeah, and I didn't have time to do it that day because that was the day I was recording a bunch of content. Oh, God bless. Wow. Fisty says, "No offense, DJs, but you just won Imbecile of the Year award." Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll take it. Imbecile of the Year. Thank you. Good. You get nothing. I know. Thank you.
Hey, could you petition the #1 content creator? Maybe they can help you.
Oh, God. All right. Well, I've had enough tonight. Yep, I had enough. Now Griffin won't live in shame alone. Yeah.
You guys are made for each other.
Wait. Yeah.
This is stupid. They're stupid.
Well, that's all, folks.
That's it. That's all I got tonight. All right. Anything else? Mariachi says, "Was there enough loot to get another Mayflower?" Of course there was. I could have bought 3 Mayflowers with that much loot. All right. I wonder if Griffin spent his loot. I bet he did.
Let's message him and find out.
I don't remember.
Hey, Griffin, interrupt your date.
Thumbelina says no phone for you next time. Here's the deal. Thumbelina asked me multiple days, "Give me your phone. Give me your phone and I'll click some buttons for you." And I'm like, "Nah, it's fine. I don't want to make you do that. I'll do it." And here we are. Here we are. There you go.
It's just like, listen to Tarpy. You need to listen to Thumbelina too.
Yeah, I know. No, I didn't do it. All right. Yep, that's it. I'm done. I'm gonna go cry myself to sleep now. All right. That's right, Juby. Men don't listen good. Cruzito says, I got your back next year. Thank you. I appreciate that. Star Trek says, "Don't feel bad. I forgot to spend my Picard tokens." I remember those. As well. All right, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, huge round of applause for our laboratory expert consultant tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Jules Vern. Thank you, buddy.
Don't forget to shield.
Yeah. I'll go shield. Why does it even matter now? I might as well just give up my account. I lost a month's worth of loot. It's not even worth playing anymore.
Send virtual hugs to DJs. He needs virtual hugs.
God, I can't believe it. So dumb. All right, guys. That's going to do it. Thank you so very much. Listen, visit our website, TalkingTrekSTFC.com. That's TalkingTrekSTFC.com, where you can find links over to the merch store. Listen, I need you guys to go check that out and get some merch. Candy White has been doing a great job over there. It is coming up on springtime. We got some great T-shirts. We've got the buttons. We've got some hats. Got your drinks, like when you go to the ball field and stuff like that. You got the little drink containers. Be sure to check that out. Let's really step it up and blow out a bunch of Talking Trek merch this year. I'd really appreciate that. You can also find our Patreon program over there. You can find a way to support the channel there financially, which we very, very much appreciate you guys doing. Thank you so very, very much for your continued support of the channel. Thank you guys for your gifted subs here tonight and your primes and your tier 1s and your tier 2s and 3s. As we continue, we are in our final 30 days here at Tarpy. Month 3 of 3 for our annual PP goal. And if we do hit it here in the month of March, not only are we giving away another $500, but then we have a bonus $500 to give away, which means that at the end of March, we could end up giving away $1,000. All right, that could happen this month. It's all up to you guys. Thank you guys all very much for the support. Do appreciate you guys checking us out. Be sure to go over and check out the YouTube channel. Tons of content over there. Listen, not all of you guys have been watching all the content, I know, because the counts are too low, but it's because I've been putting out so much. So, if you want to go check out what happened on the cruise this year, be sure to go check out some of those videos as well. Today, we posted Beck's interview with Tim Russ and Garrett Wong, which was an amazing, amazing panel. So be sure to go check that out. Thank you guys so very, very much. My name is UltimatDJz, thanking you for supporting, listening, and viewing Talking Track, a registered trademark and recorded in front of a live studio audience for distribution across podcast platforms everywhere. I am your friendly neighborhood cat person, Sam Meow for now. Love you, mean it. We'll catch you on the next one. Good night, everybody. And now I have to raid somebody. Who are we raiding tonight? Who you want to raid? Who you want to raid? Who you want to raid? Who are we raiding? Tarpy. Who we raiding? Pick somebody. Pika. Pika's on.
Who are my options?
Pika's on. Scribbler's on. And Cree. And Moshcraft. All three of them. Excuse me. We haven't rated Scribbler.
Since we rated Scribbler.
Scribbler has the best stream title. It says, if you wave solo, does anyone wave back? Love it. All right, we should go check that one out. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll pop on over to Scribbler, hop in there, do some crazy raid shenanigans, and have a little bit of fun, okay? Retrieving says, I want to raid DJs. Oh, wait. Ask Jonathan Ingram for advice on that one. All right. You guys, I appreciate you all. Have a great night. Say hi to Scribbler, and you guys, we'll catch you later on this weekend. Bye.
Captain's log, we share for all from the
Controls.